Soy el fuego que arde tu piel, soy el agua que mata tu sed, el castillo, la torre, yo soy.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to a special Wednesday edition of the CantinaMX podcast. My name is John Jagu. Glad to have you guys with us this evening here live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube, usually Thursday night, but we thought it was a couple of big news items have happened over the past couple of days, so I'm sure that we have a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm sure you guys have a lot of stuff to talk about, and you can do that. You can do that via on our chat there on YouTube, or you can also call us, and we'll post the number here momentarily for you to call in, because we do want to hear from you. I know we have some folks that are would love to check in with us in regard to that as well. But let's without further ado, let's introduce our panel of guests. We have with us in Kyle, Texas, just south of Austin, Albert El Chiquis Campa, our technical director. Albert, how are you?
Hey, doing good. A little bit of happiness and a little bit of sadness today.
Are you feeling a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll?
Or maybe a little bit of rap.
A little bit of rap. See, I'm sure. I don't know if I'm so. We'll dig into that a little bit later. But good to have you on, Chiquis. And again, he has posted in the number. So if you folks want to call us, and we do welcome callers here on the CantinaMX podcast. So please write this number down. It'll also be on the chat. It's 724-707-3826. That's 724-707-3826. And then the PIN is 13118. So 724-707-3826 and the PIN 13118. So hopefully we'll hear from you guys later on the podcast. Also have with us in South Los Angeles, California, Joel Aceves joins us from the soon-to-be new home of Carlos Vela. You guys, Joel, are you preparing your extra room for a new boarder there? Carlitos Vela, is he going to come and hang out with you in South Los Angeles?
No, he'll be hanging out with Gio, with the Dos Santos brothers. I'll be lucky to get close, man.
Yeah.
But we will have a good Los Angeles Clásico. I think this city is it deserves that. It's a lot of football right here, and looking forward to that.
And Joel, remind me, how far will you be from the new LAFC football stadium that they're building?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes walking, right? I mean.
No, in my car. No, I've gone there walking, but it's like 30 minutes walking.
So you can have a nice little Sunday stroll. Go see yourself some Carlitos and other LAFC teams, and then head on back to the homestead.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, this is the one thing that I think it could be, like the derby, the Galaxy versus LAFC, and it could be spearheaded by Mexicans.
Right.
So you have the two Dos Santos and LAFC. They're about to get someone else. I think they're gonna get another.
It's gonna be Picolín.
Seleccionado.
It's gonna be Picolín.
Probably, I'm guessing like in Ochoa, probably still Guardado.
H.
One of those. But I mean, I know the Mexico fans, they're disappointed, but personally I'd rather be able to watch them live than on TV,
Sure. It's a topic we'll delve into a little bit later. Now across the way from you down in Long Beach, the El Profe joins us, Juan Uribe, who we love it when he's on, and it's always a treat when he comes on. So in honor of your joining us, Profe, we'll go ahead and signal your entrance with a But we won't give you the full. Just a little taste. Just a little taste.
All right, hey John, how's it going, man? How's
Good,
it going, everybody?
good. How's it going for you, Coach? Now you were with Chiquis in Vegas, and we have to ask you the question: who is more fun to hang out with in Vegas? And here we don't pull punches, and those we accept everyone's opinion as is. So who's more fun to hang out with in Vegas? Is it Chiquis or Joel?
You know what, man? You know what surprised me the most is I thought Beto he wouldn't drink, dude, and he actually he drinks more than
He drinks more than Joel?
Hey,
yeah.
dude, you didn't let me tell the story last
Oh,
week.
hey, Beto, don't interrupt me.
No, sorry.
Wow.
And you know what? He actually he threw his shoes at one of the speakers in the conference.
Well, doesn't he do that at every conference?
No, I think just that one. I think it
Isn't
was
it programado y 45 minutos dentro de?
He gave the PA system a chanclazo.
The person presenting.
Excellent.
I need to tell the story about the middle of the night phone call also.
Who got a middle of the night?
Oh,
Remember from that show I was at, man, he called me like at 1:30 at night.
Well, that's not the middle. The middle of the night to me is like from 3 a.m. From 3 to 6. 1:30 is not so bad.
I was snoozing.
Chiquis goes to bed at 8 though.
That's true.
Woke his slumber.
I was snoozing. My arm, my clavicle is all fractured.
Right.
The phone rings like at 1:30. I wake up. I put like I lean on both arms, and I just jack up my arm. It just hurts again. And it's Juan over there calling me. Hey man, come down. No, I didn't answer. He just texted me. He says, "Ando todo pedo." Hey man. I guess he was enjoying.
He wanted to start a Dutch rotor.
A
Dutch or a double Dutch rudder, Joel.
Chiquis was in no condition, man.
I don't even know what that is, man. I don't think I want to know.
Well, good to have you on. Good to have you on, Juan. We'll jump into what did and didn't happen, and I don't know if you want. I know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but it seems like you want to defend your honor here. So we'll jump into that topic a little later. But staying in California, we have with us Daniel Preciado, who, like his Chiva Hermanos, has watched his team draw every game so far in the Liga MX Apertura, just like they did last season.
You know what? Why mess up a good thing? Let's
right.
Just keep it going.
That is exactly right. Now you got a little sad news today, Daniel, which we got to keep. One of your ídolos is
the
ídolo, the guy.
I mean, I even monitored his hair loss pattern, and took pride in the fact that mine was mirroring his. I mean, that's how much.
You're like
I looked up. I was like, look at that.
I'm just like him. I'm just like him. Yeah.
You have his cologne though?
What's that?
You have his cologne?
I did look for it in downtown LA in those shops where they have a bunch of wholesale, but apparently it was only sold in Mexico and in Latin America. And I had trouble finding it.
So you didn't find a botella pirata?
Yeah, La Esencia de Campeón. I didn't exactly. I never got a chance to splash it on.
Well, good to have you on, Dan, and we'll of course jump into the big news. But we can't do that. We cannot do any of that without introducing our fellow Aguilar. Of course, we're talking about Ronnie de Luna in Philadelphia. Ron, I just got back from Torchy's Tacos here in Austin. And when you order the guac, they literally just cut an aguacate, and they fork it, throw the onion and cilantro, and they go, "Here's your guacamole." Outstanding. I hope that you would do the same thing at your place.
No lemon?
Well, of course, I put a little lemon on, but I mean, but it's not something that was made 3 days ago.
No,
and kept in the fridge.
No.
Like they do at some other less reputable establishments.
No, you can't do that.
So, I would assume that you are.
How much was the guacamole in your neck of the woods?
This one, I think it was either it's Torchy's, so it's gonna be it was like $3 or $4.99, I think.
That's not that bad.
No, I mean I figure they're only paying for the the aguacate, which was what, maybe like $1 or $2, if that. So they're making a little money off you. If it was like $8.99, I would think I'd have to hold off on that. But $4.99 is not so bad. Good to have you on, Ron. We have a big news to get to. I have a couple of big stories. Of course, we'll get into the big one today. And the big one today was that the U.S. Treasury Department implicated Rafa Marquez in I guess a narco money laundering scheme and froze his assets. I'm not sure. Those you guys will have to help me out. Is that worldwide assets, or is it just assets held in the U.S.?
Just the U.S.
Just the U.S. But it was more his foundation and his academy, just a couple of businesses that he had set up, and it was all due to the relationship that he had with the gentleman who was a former owner of clubs in Irapuato and also in Querétaro. There's a guy that he'd known for a while, and he was implicated also as someone who may be a narcotraficante. And that gentleman's name. Who's that gentleman, Joel, as I look it up?
I don't know the name, John.
It was Raúl something. Hernandez Flores, maybe.
I think you're right. And I'll dig up that name here in a second. But yeah, so his assets were frozen, and now Rafa did give a speech or make some comments about an hour ago outside of the Atlas facilities there in Guadalajara, and we do have a little of it here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hang on, if y'all just give me a second. Oh, here it is. Hang on, here it is.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says. Like dumb. I'm smart, and I want respect.
So,
Freddie. Forgot.
So Rafa, yeah, here it is. Raúl Flores Hernandez. You guys are exactly right. Who was the president? So obviously, this is something that he's known for a long time, and I think now, obviously, we don't know the legal ins and outs of this, but I think, Ron, that you'd mentioned earlier in the day that you would be really wouldn't shock you, I should say, that Rafa had no idea that this was actually happening in his places, just because of. Like you said, it's not like, this guy said, "Hey, Rafa, hold this duffel bag for me for a few days."
You know what, John? Like I'm approaching 40, so it's not like the whole fandom thing. That's 20 years ago. I honestly think that Rafa is clean in this. I really do. Because I don't. Well, for starters. Since he's been 17 years old, 17, the guy's basically made his career playing abroad, and he's always the type of player that that had other people managing his money, doing stuff like that. I think that he let his good intentions. I think people just prayed into that, and they used his name and they used his foundation to do dirty deeds. I don't think that he's the the type of player or the type of person that would be involved in that. He had he's got everything to he's set for life without that.
Right, and so it would seem like of course we don't know, we're just speculating here. This is what we do here on the CantinaMX podcast. We're not we're although some of us might have. I know that Joel has more of an inside track than some of the other ones, but you're right though. I mean, it seems like as you say, they preyed on his good name and goodwill, and maneuvered things and set up things in a way through his own foundations to help them clean the money, which is what happened.
I'm not saying that Rafa's a dumb guy, but but the thing about it is, to launder money, it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, you have to have book smarts.
Please tell us all about it, Ronnie.
No.
You live in
But
Philadelphia.
I don't know how to do it, but I'm just saying, dude, it's
You're a businessman. Tell
you know,
us.
That's right.
I wish I had an account. I wish I had a good Jewish account.
You work in
Can
a
I say that?
and
Can I say
you
that?
work at an air quotes restaurant. Air quotes.
Yeah, you know.
I'm gonna go against Ron here, man.
What's
I
that?
actually, I'm gonna go against Ron that he was taking advantage. Ron, I could actually picture Marquez in the street, and when he's talking with his friend, they're covering their mouths while they're talking.
Oh, like in casino.
Like in casino.
So that the feds aren't reading their lips.
Yeah.
I think in Mexico the cartel stuff, the narco stuff is just it's a long reach. It's a reach around, man. And it's and yeah, it's invaded a lot of sectors, you know. So and I think you're just gonna come in contact with these guys, you know. A few years back, we had Burgetti was under hot water because he attended a party from one of the cartel parties.
Liga MX alone has had
a bunch of teams,
owners of their teams that I mean, there's one right now that is air quotes rumored to be in some sort of relationship with that particular ilk of folk.
Well, I mean, you know, keep in mind what's her name, the actress that had connections, you know, with her exchanges with Chapo. What's her name?
Maria Felix.
No, not her.
I'm just kidding.
Kate del Castillo.
Kate del Castillo, yeah.
You know, it's like, and I made this comment, you know, before the show to Joel, that you know, when my younger brother, when he was in Tampico, he went to the American School of Tampico. I mean, at that school, you had the children of, you know, the politicians, but you also had the children of people like, let's just say, new money. You know what I mean? So it's like
they're wrong.
I'm just saying is that, you know, I just think that it's you know, I think that he maybe Rafa Marquez just, like I said, I think he just was naive more than anything, you know.
Well, you know, naive, and
well, even if you have people like handling your money, handling your businesses,
Hey, you guys see?
locations, they can take advantage of that. They can use that money. They can like take cash amounts and pocket stuff, and that happens all the time. And and this could have happened there, where, you know, it just happens underneath his nose.
Wait, I think we have breaking news. Juan, did you have something you wanted to share with us?
El patron.
I think that's a picture of Jolie.
It does look very much like Joel.
Goddamn.
Look at the headline.
That's like a fatter, younger version of Joel from like 10 years ago.
En el blog del Narco.
Joel, is there something you should?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
Serge is laughing in the chat.
Is he?
We've met a few times.
Well, yeah. It's. I mean, you guys. The resemblance. I'm not gonna lie. Is
uncanny.
Is striking. is striking. So now the immediate question is, what does Atlas do? And what happened? I mean, is he off the team? I mean, as you know, as far as his career, I mean, is his career over? Is it done?
I think that I mean, if I'm Atlas, I would stand by him and let, you know, until you know, until there's like damning evidence, like, you know, I would stand by him.
But isn't the PGR in on it too? So it's not just the Treasury, but also in conjunction with Mexico's. So I mean, if he's already being implicated, that means they have some evidence.
Yeah, and I believe they've already sent it to the Justice Department. So
actually, Martin has a good post that he clarifies a lot of stuff. He says that the accusation is not really an accusation, that they have the evidence sufficient to even hold his funds, take away his visa. So it's like he's already guilty. There's no innocent until proven guilty. He's already guilty. His punishment is already there. And there's no sanctions like jail time. It's just, you know.
And FMF does have a clause that they added, like if you're involved with fraudulent stuff like that,
It's called of moral character. You have to be of good moral character. Like, and it's funny because
It's a good thing we don't have that here on the CantinaMX podcast, because I mean we got guys that go to Vegas and
He was banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. Players couldn't get a drink at the table. What's wrong with you?
I mean seriously.
I'll bring the morality.
oh no, but you had what's his name? I mean, if you think of all the club owners, like Carlos Ahumada, and then you also had like what's his name, Cermeño, the ex.
Well, Querétaro had an owner that no one knew who it was. It was a silent partner.
Yeah, you're right. It
was a guy you walk in. It's like Charlie on the speakerphone and Charlie's Angels. He goes to the owners' meetings by speakerphone.
So.
Yeah, and one of the biggest ones was the Jorge Lankenbeo.
Yeah,
I know I'm mispronouncing his name, but he even used the Banco Confia, and he laundered a lot of money, and he was in charge of Monterrey.
Now, like with the whole CONCACAF FBI thing came about 2 years ago, and there wasn't one Mexican.
That's still incredible.
I was surprised that that there wasn't a Mexican implicated, and then
did that make you angry, Ron? Did that make you a little angry that there was?
No, it didn't make me angry, but
why weren't they invited on the gag?
On the gag and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just I don't. I think these guys are well paid. That they don't need to get involved in that type of stuff.
They don't need those envelopes.
No, I mean I can understand why. To make my point, I could understand why the Caribbean team, those guys, because they don't have leagues, they can't make money, So
yeah,
I mean,
that was like 3 years' wages for a lot of them.
Yeah,
if they had 30,000 bribe, that was about 3 years' wages.
Man, I got 50,000 when I got my envelope.
So for these guys, I mean, I could understand why. I mean, to a point, I can even understand why, a federation like El Salvador, they do the same thing, But it's it's pointless to do it because these guys are making millions in Mexico, legit. I don't see it greed really being a factor here.
So are we all just speculating here on?
Of course. Until
maybe he got caught doing something, and maybe that evidence went to the wrong people, and maybe they made him play along. Since we're just playing the speculation game. Well, I'd love to think that he's going to come out of this clean, where he's just, oops, I'm just I trusted the wrong people, but
I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's really what happened.
It's just going to be kind of hard to believe, though.
What's that?
It's going to be kind of hard to believe it completely. But
for a second,
we'll see. We'll see.
Well, Beto. I mean, a lot of these players.
I do think his status, though, is going to buy him a lot of sympathy and a lot of benefit of the doubt amongst a lot of people. But for sure, this is already putting a dirty stain, tarnishing what he's been. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
The type of stain that you only get from the Dutch rudder, huh?
The double Dutch rudder.
Double Dutch.
I'm gonna put my aluminum foil hat here. Yes.
Tin foil?
Tin foil, there you go. I think that's part of it, why he was trying to lead the players' union.
Yeah, but this happened maybe
you got them connections, man. There's a lot of money right there. I think in Mexico, that's also a lot of the laundering also happens through the player transfers, and it's been going on since way back the 90s that I remember, and through the Colombian cartels, they would use player transfers to launder money, and it still happens, and you'll see some players that come to Liga MX and never even play.
Or you see players get signed for have $16 million transfer fee when they're worth $2 million.
So I mean, it still goes on, and I think the whole trying to be, at the head of the players union. I feel there was something there, man.
Or maybe they're smearing him because he tried to make a players union.
Well, I don't think they smeared him if he was actually doing it. I think they just probably outed him,
They
because it happened, and Ronnie could tell
they were
us
thinking
it
two steps
happened.
ahead.
It happened with Mauder when he challenged Televisa,
Yeah.
and they dug up all the dirt on him, and they got him kicked out and jailed as well. I mean,
Yeah, my uncle got thrown in jail. Actually, this is my second cousin, like 10 or 15 years ago, because he pissed off the wrong guy down in Mexico. So it certainly does. It certainly does happen now. Now while we're can you pass the hat to me, Joel?
yes, sir.
If you wouldn't mind.
But you gotta play the music.
Well, I'm playing the music. Hang on a second. Hang on. Give me. Hang on. All right. So, with in light of the new information that we found out today, I mean that handball in 2006 has always bugged me. Always. I mean, I'm not sure. There are, pendejadas, and then I mean that's like, that's always bugged me. So, do you think that there may have been something to that too? And then Omar Bravo missing the penalty kick. I mean, come on.
It will make us question all these things now.
And Vasco losing to the Nads in.
And he's already been implicated on some dirty stuff too. So
he was cleared.
He was
cleared
cleared
of charges.
Yeah, he was cleared. It was like a month ago.
Cleared. So what?
So what?
The allegation is all that matters.
Is he still coaching in Qatar?
No, he left.
Or in the Emirates?
He won a cup tournament, and then he quit. He gathered his money.
So he's back in Miami or Madrid or wherever he lives.
Yeah. Hey, which I have to say now, just given how, can we blame a lot of these Mexicans that would rather go to the U.S., where it's like we don't want to be involved with the whole mess that is in Mexico?
Yeah, I'm starting to. You know what? That's a good point, Jolie, because I was thinking the same thing. Maybe that's why they're choosing less.
Yeah, you're Borghetti. You get invited to a party for Tijuana Cartel. I mean, you can't say no. You kind of have to go, and you have to wonder how much more stuff like that happens.
Prostitution, loan sharking, numbers. The kid liked the wettest week and everything.
What? Is that from Goodfellas?
It's actually from the Simpsons episode where the first time he meets Fat Tony, and Principal Skinner goes missing, and they burst into Fat Tony's bar, and they say that Bart was the El Capo de Tutti Capi. It's a great episode if you've never seen it. I think it was in the third season. It's good stuff. But
I have to check it out again.
I do think Joel brings up a good point, though. I mean, if you're like at the very least, you know that they're looking at you or aware of you when they start inviting you to parties, and I could see how the pressure to even just the pressure that they could put on. I mean, I don't know how I'd react. I mean, it's a tough position to be placed in for sure.
It is, because I mean, go back to the Cabañas incident. The guy goes to El Barbar with his brother-in-law.
Wait, Ron, let me just stop you there. And that bar is known as the national team hangout. Like they would literally go after games at the Azteca, the national team players and a lot of the high profile footballers, they'll go to that bar.
Yeah, a lot of celebrities, and obviously these narc guys, that obviously think that they're part of, they're part of the in crowd. They're obviously going to want to spend the money to go to these places, and like you said, I mean, they're bound to to rub shoulders and perhaps even sometimes break bread, near the same table. And I just think it's an unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate, but again,
whereas
like I said,
they could live in Los Angeles and live in relative anonymity.
True.
I mean, dead serious.
South Los Angeles.
Oh, I was thinking about that too, John. I mean, I know one of the. I don't know how much of a concern it is for them, but the threat of being kidnapped or having a family member kidnapped and just having these ransom demands placed on you, you get a lot of less of that, or some of that fear is probably lessened if you're living in LA.
Unless you're Pulido.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, oof. That was kind of scary. I mean,
I don't know if he was kidnapped as much of anything if someone made fun of the outfit he was wearing.
I know. I didn't want to. I was waiting for Beto to say something about that.
And you know what? The funny thing about Pulido, they were saying that where was he at? Tamaulipas or
He was in Ciudad Victoria.
But they were saying that they were going to be voting around that time, so that it was like a PR stunt to make the current mayor look good.
Well, PR is one thing that Liga MX and teams and the FMF in general have not necessarily been good at, and it's going to be interesting to see.
Has Atlas made any kind of statement on how they're going to proceed, or are they kind of sit and wait?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I haven't checked the old information box in the past hour or so. So as far as I know, they haven't. I don't know if you guys have seen anything differently, or if any of our callers have seen anything. Because again, we do have numbers for y'all to call if y'all want to discuss this with us.
I think the last thing that we know is that Mexico even froze his bank accounts.
Oh, they froze his assets in Mexico?
Yep, they froze his assets in Mexico.
Do you think they got his getaway money too, or do you think that's still safe?
I don't know.
Speaking of getaway, I saw this meme and the PGR has Marquez, and they're asking him where are the trophies for Matlas, and he's saying I don't have them. I swear the cabinet was already empty. But Marquez probably like those pimps. That's why they have all these gold chains on him, and he has some money.
Well, Atlas, I mean, at least not on their Twitter feed, they haven't posted anything in 10 hours. So, but again, the reality is what kind of crisis management are both Atlas and Rafa Marquez going to how are they going to deal with this? So that's something that I wouldn't mind seeing. But before we get into that, we do have to make another announcement that we have another member has joined us.
There you go.
Another Chivo Hermano has hopped on. Rigoberto Raton Ayala, how are you, sir?
How are you guys doing?
And now Rigo, you said this week that you have a business in San Diego, so you might go down to TJ.
Yeah, I have to go to a conference in September, so I'm probably gonna go to TJ to catch a game. I've never been, so I'm excited. I'm excited to go to TJ. I'm excited to go to San Diego.
San Diego is as Dan can attest, and I'm sure Joel and Profe too. It is a fun city. There's no question about that. You have a good time.
Hopefully, we can get together with some of the guys and have a beer, hold hands, and who knows? Who knows where the night takes us?
Sing some songs.
That's what I like to hear. I can't wait.
Hey, careful.
Tingly.
Jolie's got some new technique.
You still want to show me your cucumber?
We were talking about reach arounds earlier.
So John.
Yes, sir.
Assume that Rafa gets cleared. What do you think happens to his legacy?
Well, I mean that's a good question. I mean, are they going to be like? Remember that goalie that was convicted of being in a kidnapping ring? The guy in Monterrey, the Gato Ortiz or whatever his name was, and they paraded him.
Apparently, the guy still pleads his innocence.
Really?
Yeah.
And they paraded him in front of the media.
Yeah.
I mean, as Martin said, his the sentence has been passed. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, how long are assets frozen? Are they frozen forever? Are they frozen for a month? For a year? I mean, what's the bit? I mean, as far as his legacy, I mean, I don't see how this can't do anything but tarnish it.
Like to the point where, like, let's say No,
I mean, I don't think that he's going to get a TV gig.
Like what I'm saying is like you don't see him now going to the 5th World Cup. You don't see him a farewell game. You don't see him like they'll tell him, you know what, thank you, but we don't want you part of the players' union. I mean, do you think it's going to be that extreme? Assuming that he gets cleared, and he's innocent. Do you think? But just still, the association. People are always going to wonder. Do you think it's going to get to that point?
Have you ever seen the movie Can't Buy Me Love?
Yes, I love that movie.
Where it came out that.
Hey, just
Ronald
hang
Miller,
on one second. This is more pathetic. More pathetic than our Erasure Pet Shop Boys we had last week. I just want to throw that out there. But go ahead. Please continue.
There's a part in the movie
Cindy
where
Mancini was a piece of that.
There's a part of the movie where Patrick Dempsey gets outed. He pays a girl a bunch of money to go out and to make himself look cool.
Yeah.
He pays her a bunch of money to pretend that she's his girlfriend. That's that's kind of how I see it. Like, help me out here. I'm losing my train of thought here.
Dan, since you brought that up,
I know that African dance.
Don't.
No, I wasn't talking about the. I was actually going somewhere with this, but
that dude's little brother, Chucky Miller, was actually Seth Green.
Seth Green, yeah.
Chucky Miller. I don't know why I remember that. Useless information.
Yeah, I have no idea where I was going with it. I'm sorry. I totally fucked that up.
I ruined it for you.
Yeah, where were you taking this? Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh man.
He pays to get in with the big boys. So what is that?
Yeah, were you saying Marquez was trying to get in?
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out.
Oh no, okay. It was the part where he was
a long boy,
and how he gets shunned. I'm sorry, how he gets shunned. How everybody just doesn't want anything to do with him. Even the nerds are like, no, dude, like we can't. That's how I think it's gonna be for Rafa moving forward. Everyone's gonna distance themselves. No one's gonna want anything to do with him, just because. Who wants to be associated with that?
He was banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. Players couldn't get a drink at the table. What's wrong with you?
But that's how he is. He's gonna be taking his little cafeteria tray and sitting by himself in the corner.
And it's not just that. It's what public position is Rafa going to be able to have post playing? He's not going to, it's going to be very hard for him to get an announcer position, for Televisa Azteca or Univision or wherever, because of this. It's going to be hard for him to be, to have a visible position at any club. If anything, he's going to have to, in addition to with dancing, he's going to have to toil in almost in anonymity. Just coaching.
And he's not the only one that's going to be affected by this. It's going to be the entire national team, Atlas, the league. It's
the players' union.
His foundation, his academy. Yeah, those were the assets. His foundation's assets are frozen, gone, frozen.
Now, I noticed on one of the lists of the I guess organizations that are implicated in it. Involves Pardo. He's not, but he wasn't included in that at all, right? So
he wasn't on the list, but there were some other names around the list. There was a singer that was on the list. It was like 20, 25 folks that had been that were implicated in this investigation, and action was taken. And I didn't see any of you on the list, so that is a good thing. So,
dude, I don't even know how to. I can't wash my underwear. I can't launder money.
So what happens now? Does the Mexican government extradite him?
No, because he's. His punishment has already been handed out. He's not going to trial or anything. It was.
Yeah, but they can press charges though, can't they? Can't they send it to the Justice Department? Because that's what I heard, that it's actually getting looked at by them now.
Well, according to Martin, like I was saying, read his post. It's just they're holding his funds, and there's no jail time consequences according to him. So I don't.
So that's his punishment.
That kind of leads me to believe that maybe they know that he will, seek his innocence. and they're hoping that he may have
Mitch?
information on them,
Flip
or something. Because if that's the case, I don't know. Again, I'm speculating here, but
Yeah, because why wouldn't they seek like more like tougher charges, not just freeze his assets?
Well, that's the thing, though. Is they were using his operation or his, basically bank accounts that are in his name or in his foundation's names to do some creative accounting with ill-gotten gains.
But speaking of money laundering, do you remember that? You guys remember the movie Office Space?
Right.
You remember three guys? They were smart and they didn't know what money laundering in, and then
Fraction of a cent. Yeah.
Orlando Jones. Hi, I'm addicted to crack, but now I'm off. I'm trying to stay clean. I'm trying to sell magazine subscriptions.
You sound just like them.
That one actually wasn't bad.
Can I tell you all a funny story about Office Space?
And he explains what money laundering is.
You're saying that that's what Rafa needs to attend one of those seminars.
Maybe.
Funny thing about Office Space is that that was filmed here in Austin, and 2 of the locations that they used in the movie were places where I actually worked. They did an outdoor thing where I worked down in South Austin, what is like a little industrial park.
Yeah.
And then all of the restaurant scenes, regardless of what restaurant they were in, they did that where at the time I was actually bartending. So for 3 or 4 days we
Chachi's or something like that.
Exactly, Tchotchkes or whatever it was called.
Tchotchkes.
Yeah, that was a place called Legends. It was a hotel bar at the Holiday Inn up in North Austin where I used to bartend. So it cracks me when I saw the movie. I was just dying. I knew about Legends, but I had no idea about the other place. That was when my first gig out of school. I was one of those marketing people at MCI, getting people to buy a long distance. That was
MCI.
I was working during the Mexico-Bulgaria game, and you knew because we didn't have a TV, so we're calling Mexicanos. We're like, ¿Qué pasó? So we're trying to get the blow by blow on the penalties.
Hold on, MCI didn't that turn into AT&T?
No, MCI turned into Verizon.
Oh yeah,
really?
I think because I think my first cell phone, I think it was with GTE or something like that, and I think they turned into.
Yeah, it became WorldCom, and then it became Verizon, but they merged with Bell Atlantic. That's what they did. So Rafa he's done. He had his career over.
He's innocent, but I think that.
Is he going to have to hire Aaron Brockovich to clear his name?
This guy. This guy could have been the president of the Mexican Federation, in a decade or so, but with this, he's lucky if he can get a coaching gig after the fact. Even if he comes out of this clean, I just think he's still always going to remember this.
Boys, anybody else? Final word on Rafa. Dan, I'm going to go with you, Dan, because I know that he's
my favorite.
He was your guy.
It especially hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I know we were talking before the show started. It was like that GIF file that's on, where one guy's just crying and the other guy's behind him is laughing at him. That's kind of how my emotions how they were today. When I'm older, so I'm used to disappointment and real life.
So is the older version of
totally
you laughing at your inner child? Yeah, okay.
But the inner child that I'm still holding on to just can't help but be a little bit heartbroken because, my hero just fucking disappointed me, man. It turned out, at least at first glance, it's looking like he's not what we all thought.
Muy triste, ¿no?
Estoy muy avergonzado.
Oh, you are too.
Me estoy avergonzado.
That is, I think that's probably the best way to put a button on that. And now, before we get to the other story, I do want to mention that Ronnie mentioned that Rafa had a really good chance to as you said, be president of FML. I think another guy has a good chance to do that. It has officially retired and is, as Joel reported last week, one of the folks that are being shopped around to gain a lot of power position at FMM. That's Gerardo Torrado, who would probably maybe we're not going to see the Torrado Marquez partnership to lead FMF. It's now it's going to be Gerardo by himself. It looks like. But Gerardo did retire, and I mean he's another guy that obviously has a lot of smarts. Has been around, understands.
I think doesn't he have a law degree?
He does have a law degree.
Yeah.
So does Gonzalo Pineda, if I'm not mistaken. I think he also has a law degree.
Yeah.
And he's got the good hair when he grows it out. So he that's somebody to definitely keep an eye on as not necessarily moving into as a coach's role, but into an executive role. So that's someone whose career I think that we should bears additional scrutiny as he moves on. And do y'all think that Gerardo has that opportunity? Do you think he has that kind of future to make it pretty high up at least on the sporting side of FMF, or
I don't know if presidency's up Gerardo Torrado's future, because keep in mind that he did him and his pop did try to go after the FMF, although they kept the fight in house. I think that certain owners will always remember that. It's like, hey, you tried to go, but against us.
Well, now they are they're shopping him, or at least throwing up trial balloons to give him Jimmy Bathroom's position. So he's going to be the guy that, at least in the near term, is going to be the devil's advocate to sorry, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? He's going to be the guy that questions him. I mean, right now there's nobody. And what was Jimmy Bath Salt's going to say to this guy? So definitely somebody to keep an eye on. I mean, hopefully, for his sake. I mean, he's obviously somebody who had a great career as a player, and was a. I mean, I saw him in Chicago at the 2011 Gold Cup, and the way that he maneuvered everybody. I mean, it was impressive. I mean, he knew where everybody was on the field, where they needed to be, and he was just pointing and directing traffic the entire day. And the reality is that I haven't seen a midfielder do that for Mexico since. So I've always liked him. I thought he was a great player, and I think he's somebody that really knows and understands the game, and hopefully he will be able to use his knowledge and help future teams.
So you see him coaching, John?
No, I don't. I see him moving into executive roles, like in development and stuff like that. I think that's where I see him. I think that he's going to be the guy that's going to end up hiring the coaches, or at least, well, maybe not hiring, but maybe making recommendations.
Yeah, but it sounds like he could be a good coach too, huh?
I suppose.
Osvaldo Sanchez tweeted, Rafifi, ídolo, estoy contigo al 300. Sé quién eres, la verdad saldrá a relucir. Fuerza, hermano.
That's isn't that like one of the standard cliches that the Mexican soccer players say? It says, "Muy pronto saldrá la verdad," and then they never say anything after that.
Because I mean, the guys that were the Atlas Untouchables, it was Osvaldo, it was Rafa, it was Pardo,
and Borghetti.
Well, he was a little before, but Chatito should be there as well.
Cepeda, Osorno.
I think one of those two guys was also involved or linked to some shenanigans. I don't remember. It was
Osorio. It was Osorno.
He was linked to
like a car accident or something.
Shenanigans? Are you sure about that, Ron?
Yeah.
Argle Bargle or Foofara?
Speaking of shenanigans, I think they finished filming Super Troopers 2. Can't wait for that one.
Wow, that would be that is fantastic news. Beer Fest is my favorite.
Oh yes.
It's a
Beer Fest. Yeah, I love that one.
it's
Speaking of beer,
it is pretty good.
speaking of beer, well, not Beer Fest, Beer League. You know, because we were talking about the Karate Kid, the new Karate Kid series, and I can't remember who I told, but I was telling him that I still think that Ralph Macchio's best movie was in Beer League. Love that movie with Artie Lang.
Yeah, he was also
Thought
good.
you were
My
gonna say
cousin.
Crossroads.
Yeah, but Beer League. If you guys ever listened to Howard Stern, like, you know, when Beer League came out, dude. If you guys ever watched the roast, like the Howard Stern roast of like Artie Lang and Baba Booey, did you guys ever watch those on YouTube? You can watch them on YouTube. They are hilarious, dude. I'm like, if you watch the comedy roast, you know that there's like they're okay. The ones that Howard Stern did back like 10 years ago, where they roasted what was it Baba Booey, they roasted Artie Lang, they roasted like three other people, dude. They would always attack Artie Lang for that movie Beer League. Like, you know, one of the jokes was like, what did he say? He said, I went to go see your movie, Artie. I mean, I don't want to say I was the only person, but they told me to turn off the lights after the movie was over. I'm ruining the joke, but you guys have to watch it. It's hilarious. I digress, by the way. Hello? Yeah.
All right. So other moving on to the other big news of the week, and a conversation that seems to be well, I mean, I guess for him it was got him off the front page at least, but over in South Los Angeles, Joel is going to have a new neighbor. Joel, is he going to live between you and America guy? You think? Is he going to take the house in between?
Probably gonna live in the same condo as Dos Santos.
Yeah. So where would that be? Would that be down in Hermosa Beach or Venice Beach?
I don't know, man. Sky's the limit for them.
You don't know where Gio lives?
Actually, no.
Well, Joel, when are you gonna follow him home from a practice, dude?
Just go to all the Denny's.
That's see. I think I was about to say there's something Chiquis would know, and he already knows about that.
Do y'all know that joke? What does La Quinta mean in English? Apparently not. You know, no. The answer is next to Denny's, because for years, if there was a La Quinta, there was a Denny's right next to it. So does that where Gio lives? Is it a La Quinta? No,
tough crowd for jokes today.
The jokes are flying today.
Harsh.
Just fire.
Crowd is tough.
Anyway, yes. As I was saying earlier, you know what you need to do there, Chiquis, is play your obnoxious horn.
Oh, that one.
Oh, the double. There you go.
Played them both.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be. Now, one thing I didn't. Well, I guess we'll do it here in a second. But so Carlos Vela has announced that in February he's going to be playing at LAFC. Now, I personally think that this was LAFC's second choice. I think that they wanted a bigger name. Carlos Vela, has had a decent career, but I think that it could have been better. For him, but either way, he's the first designated player for Los Angeles FC. Will be playing in the. Now, is that stadium going to be ready, Joel, for 2018, or is it going to be?
Yes, sir. It'll be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you go by daily to check on the progress?
No.
Yeah. Have you gotten your abono yet, Joel?
No. I'm getting a season press pass. Courtesy of Soccer Cron.
Excellent news. So you'll be giving us so I know we have Geo Watch on Footbags. You're going to be giving us Vela Watch.
And I think they're going to get at least one or two more players. I'm pretty sure of that.
So my question is, why are people? I mean, I watched it and I read the news today, and with I mean, and it just seems like all the Mexico fans are just. I mean, I have to play this for all of them because they're just so upset that this is happening. It's like, man, he's not making decisions based on how am I going to do well in the national team? That's not that's like the last part of the decision. So why are people so upset?
And you know what? I don't think, and I don't know if you guys watch Fútbol Picante, and Rafa Puente brought up, he tried to bring up this point, and Hugo Sanchez got salty, and he was saying that even if you're playing abroad, it doesn't automatically transition into, because you're doing good in La Liga, that you're gonna do good with the national team. And he was trying to say that of Hugo Sanchez because he, how he was at Real Madrid he was nowhere near that level with the tricolor. And it's not like it was a bad team. He had a pretty good team.
I'm gonna have to hold on.
I'm gonna have to disagree on that. I'm gonna have to disagree.
Well,
but it was a bad team.
But not only that,
timing.
but two things.
Timing.
Hugo didn't play for the national team from 1987 until 1990. So there were like 4 or 5 years where he didn't even play with the national team. That was when he was killing it at Real Madrid. But please continue, Juan.
Wait. Oh no, but yeah. So I'm saying that they think it's gonna affect. To me, overall, what affects is your mentality. If they come over here and they just checked out, they went on vacation, then yeah, it's gonna affect them. But if they still have, if they choose to remain competitive, they will do good. And we saw it with Cuauhtemoc. He's a player that got sent around. Even in Liga MX, they sent him to Necaxa, to Veracruz, to Santos, and he would just play really good because he didn't let that bring him down,
But Cuauhtemoc had a desire to be on the national team.
That's what I'm saying.
Does not. He's never had it. He's never wanted to be on the national team. Because if you want to be on the national team, when they call you up, regardless of whatever's going on, you go to the national team. And he turned down the World Cup in 2014, and
I guarantee you there was a lot more to just him just turning down that, but.
And we went out with Gio when he wasn't even getting playing time.
Cuauhtemoc is the only example too, the single only example, and he has a different style of play where he didn't need to hustle real hard, even when he was old and decrepit.
But don't forget, he said no to the national team too.
Yes, he did.
He's a different type of player, and
if we had the Kraken, that would be the first thing he'd bring up.
Yeah.
But in fact, if he had audio drops, he would just play La Volpe saying no quería venir or whatever it was, and then he just
And it's not just a mentality thing, but it's also skill and being able to play with other high level players, which affects the mentality. Even though he is in LA and wants to try hard and wants to do well, there's a sense of ease and a sense of comfort that he's going to have automatically being in MLS and knowing that it is MLS.
Do you think maybe possibly, and I'm not saying that I believe this, but do you think it's possible that maybe he sees this as a way to, if he sees the MLS as an up and coming league, to be the guy, like, to cement himself as a bit of an LA legend, I guess, because I heard Bob Bradley speaking about this, and I was like, I don't know about that, because soccer is still a niche sport even in LA. Yeah.
Like
especially MLS.
The face of MLS, maybe.
The face of LAFC, like the new team in LA. I think that's how they're. It sounds like that's how they're selling it to him. I don't know how legitimate that is, though.
Even his face, like in the video he took, his face looks all awkward. He looks like uncomfortable in that sweatshirt and everything.
Well, he looks 12. That doesn't help either.
Well, I think he just wants
What he should have done is that he should have worn the wife beater, the wife beater white T-shirt, and then worn the hat. Then he would have got an instant. It would have been. I'm being dead serious.
And the neck tattoo.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of creeps into the face.
Yeah, kind of like Quato in Total Recall. It just this being that's coming out of you.
MJ he hit it on the head. He's just there to mess around. He's just there to enjoy the beach.
You don't know that.
People, to see the Lakers, to see some NFL.
Maybe he's a Clippers fan.
You know what,
You
though?
ever think of that, Chiquis?
The recent Lakers signings, that you might be onto something, though, Beto.
Yeah, the Clippers are too low level. I knew Ellis. He's going to the Lakers games. He's going to the Forum. He's going to.
The
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know the Clippers exist.
Is he a Rams fan or a Chargers fan? Because he's got both. He's got both right there.
He's a Raiders fan.
Is he a Raiders? I know Chicharito's a Raiders fan, but what about Velez? He
he's never actually said.
He strikes me, but he's a Heat guy. He doesn't. Or do you think he's you think he's an NBA via Melon? You think he's gonna? Well, he's gonna get. See, that's the thing though, is that if he's just an NBA guy, then he's gonna get, instead of getting just 40 games in LA, he's getting 80 games in LA because he's get both the Lakers and the Clippers.
Yeah, and he can Uber Uber 10 minutes and go to the games after practice.
Me voy en el Uber. Yeah.
I mean, it does make a lot of sense. I mean, I'm sure when he thought about all this stuff, and he's like, man, it sounds pretty good, man.
I kept telling you guys weren't believing me.
I can go to Lakers games.
Once again. I need that. I
get to be on Fox Sports and get shown like on the screen when they start panning out to celebrities, because I'm sure at some point.
The first pitch at Dodger Stadium, like Gio did.
I mean, that was, you know what? That was the one thing I was waiting for. I was like, you know what? I might consider watching him if he throws the first pitch at Dodger Stadium, because that's.
So is he coming over in February or after the World Cup?
In January. So yeah, he's going to do nothing for 4 months.
Is it 4 months? The MLS starts in March, doesn't it?
I guess it starts in March. Yeah.
So
who knows, man?
Gonna be, I guess,
go on loan.
But Bradley kind of does have a point as far as that. Well, I mean, I don't know if legend is the word, but I mean, if you think of how many Mexican players have had a chance to play in the LA area, and and Bob Bradley even had a couple of them. I mean, I know that y'all. I mean, I don't know how Ramon Ramirez played in MLS.
I was there. I was there, John. I saw that whole
But Claudio Suarez did seem to play okay in MLS. He didn't.
Man, I forgot about Claudio. Who did he play with?
He played for Chivas USA.
Oh man, goddamn! I should be ashamed. I don't remember him. Valencia was here too.
I still feel bad for Valencia. Got roped into doing that awful.
Yeah, he didn't want to come.
Puma's job?
No, the segment on HBO's Real Sports.
Oh man.
That's savage. And Chivas just won, by the way.
Chivas won what?
Won the Copa America game against Juarez.
They did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tigres lost. I don't want to.
Primero que nada, hay que felicitar a Chivas porque ganaron bien.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that was when I was looking up all the Lady Cemento and Lady Máquina. That was a girl called Lady Águila. Ron, I think you would like her. You should look her up.
No, the one that I actually kind of want to look up is the one that was on the least. What's her name?
Oh, she was like the center midfielder on the starting the money laundering starting.
Yeah, dude, she was hot. Yeah. She's hot.
I think Ron. I think that.
Sufriendo cada torneo lo mismo. Duele porque uno no se lo merece.
Give us a choice. That was Lady Máquina or.
No nos merecemos este equipo y no nos merecen como afición porque les falta actitud, les falta partirse la madre.
They're every national team game.
Right. So Ron, out of those three, MKF it for me. What are you gonna do?
Who's Lady Águila again?
Oh, Lady Águila. She was this one. She said.
Primero que nada hay que felicitar a Chivas porque ganaron bien. La neta, hay que dejarnos de tonterías.
So there you go. So MKF.
Also, she was being a gracious loser.
MKF our ladies here. MKF our ladies.
I think you got to marry Lady Águila.
Since
Beto sees that as mental midgetry, though.
Yeah, that's and mental midgetry would be me not responding to Rigo dissing Pumas and Palencia. So I have to play this real quick.
Siempre es la misma pendejada que hacen las pinches Chivas. La otro año, ¿qué pasó? Perdimos y aquí en Jalisco, cabrones. Que no chinguen. pagar tanta pinche para este pinche juego.
That was if you don't remember the Guero Chiva.
So I guess Ron's not going to participate in our MKF game here.
Give me about 5 minutes, guys. Give me about 5 minutes.
Well, he really has to think about it. So I'm not sure what he needs to do about that. So we will move on now. Joel, you and I we've written about it. We've talked about it. We had a long conversation about it yesterday, about how, especially in light of the new rules and regulations that are in Liga MX, that and maybe MLS is a league that Mexican players should go, hey, you know what? I can actually make a pretty decent living up there, and instead of getting hosed and and mistreated and all this other, not mistreated, but just not given the opportunities that I know I can get up there. Maybe MLS might be an option for me, and I'm sure MLS would love to have 22-year-old Mexican players coming up instead of 28, 29-year-old guys that can really make them done. Bigger stars.
Are you talking about they'd rather not have European petardos?
Well, I think that's always going to happen, but there's definitely an opportunity for especially if we start, as some people think that the Vela might mail it in, that's fine. What if he does, finally find the joy in the game? Because I personally believe that Carlos Vela has never enjoyed playing. I think he enjoys his teammates. I don't necessarily think that he enjoys. I think that he is as gifted a player as Mexico's ever produced as far as his natural ability, but it was never that important to him. Whether that's at club or national team, I don't think it matters. It just didn't matter to him. But I think that started to change with him a little bit as he matured and became a dad and some other stuff. So, maybe at some point, if it happens at LAFC, if he can find the joy of playing, then hopefully it'll work out. Who knows what's going to happen? But I do think that the MLS is a league where I think the Mexican players can have a big impact, and especially if the two leagues, both Liga MX and MLS, have more of a competitive relationship. I personally think it is the lowest hanging fruit for a Mexican player as far as opportunity and what they can do with it. And it's to me it's just this huge. Well, there's a line of Scarface which I won't repeat, but it's a big opportunity for Mexican players.
I think it's the perfect league for the Mexican Fool's Gold generation.
Why is that, profe?
Well, because they didn't live up to any of their hype. I mean, they pretty much...
They still have value. The Fool's Gold still has value.
Yeah, but it's still Fool's Gold.
It's now Pocho Gold.
They haven't realized it's Fools yet. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you mean the Fools? Or the LA Fools?
The MLS, yeah, exactly.
But do you really think Galaxy fans are disappointed with Dos Santos?
They're blind.
Well, he has not been playing well. So, but the whole team hasn't been playing well. But
Overall, I think he's been pretty okay. I mean,
well, they had a coaching change, so they could blame it. Or is that guy not there anymore?
No, they did switch out coaches.
Sigi Schmidt.
Oh wow, I'm so behind, man.
It happened a couple weeks ago because obviously Bruce was the coach. Then he retired, and then he was he was coaxed out of retirement to coach the national team, right?
Yeah.
Because the U.S. doesn't really have bomberos like other countries do, because they just don't have that many guys.
Well, maybe they could call him Vasco.
I think the difference, and I think the difference is going to be the same thing with Jonathan. I think those two guys are going to do good no matter what. I mean, I just think that Vela's of a different class, and I think that'll show. Even if he's just surrounded by a bunch of scrubs, I think he'll manage to make them look better too. Even still.
Well, he's definitely going to be surrounded by a very marginal team, just of the nature of the teams. Although Atlanta United came in this year as an expansion team, has actually played pretty well. Of course, they have a coach that knows what he's doing in Tata Martino, which helps a lot. And they have a pretty good core of decent players. So if they can surround him with a decent defender, a good midfield, like 3 or 4 guys that are just above average, then yeah, maybe he
now, do you
will
guys
have
think
an opportunity.
Do you think it makes that big a difference not playing just the way their schedule is set up before the World Cup? Because they are going to be. He will be in season by the time he'll
be fresher.
The team.
He'll be a lot fresher than everybody else.
That's what I think too. I mean, at least trying to look at everything. Like he's not going to be fresh off vacation.
They still do the month-long training camp, which I always imagine like one of those '80s montage training, like in the Rocky movies. They play a song. And
Which song though?
Oh, there's only one song to play.
Hearts on Fire?
No.
No, not at all.
Chariots of Fire.
No.
You got the power.
Sorry. Still my
that song does inspire, man.
I still think it's hilarious that when he came out on Jimmy Kimmel, the band was playing, and he went over and started singing a song. And then he said he started singing it badly, which made it even better. It was very, very funny. So he'll have the training, and then they could. So it starts in March.
Do you have the song "Noisy Way Out" for Rocky IV?
No, I don't have that.
Oh man, but that wasn't training. That was the sad. That was when
Apollo dies.
I think the song is more appropriate now than ever. I mean, with Rafa getting kicked out, I mean, you could see just images of him like.
It's when he agrees to fight Ivan Drago, and then his wife gets mad and he says that you can't beat him, Rock.
Yeah, and he's replaying all those awful moments in his life.
That what he says?
He drives away in his car and he's.
Oh, here we go. Oh, so it's kind of like the same song in Footloose, when Kevin Bacon is so upset that he has to go to the abandoned factory to dance. Remember, and he just. So it's that kind of song.
We have to have Hearts on Fire, man. That's ultimate training, man.
I'm like picturing Rafa just driving in his
driving to
car,
the abandoned factory and then having a self-imposed dance off.
Hey dudes, good news for you.
What's that?
Chivas, they beat FC Juárez 1-0.
Primero que nada hay que felicitar a Chivas porque ganaron bien.
What? So they beat the Juárez team?
Yeah.
No. Does winning a Copa MX game, does it warrant a? No. Or is it just?
Is that no longer important, Rigo?
Or is it just one of these?
Copa MX? Yeah, but I mean it's the group stage.
You're right, John. Though it is hilarious that there's a group stage in this thing.
Terrible. It's just terrible. I mean, it's. I guess it's good for the kiddos to get the bit. It's just. I mean, think of what they're asking. They're asking the stadiums to open up. For what 20% of the capacity that would normally come in. So that means they have to, turn the lights on, get all the attendance there, get all the concessions. It's just not worth it.
They need to give the scrubs playing time though.
Well, I mean,
they should do that like at what you were saying, like smaller venues.
And again, another reason why for some of these players. Joel, how many players play in Liga? How many are on a roster in Liga MX? Let's do some.
How many foreigners?
No, just players in general on a roster.
It's about
22.
About 20, well, let's say 20. No, it's more like 25. Maybe between 25 and 30. We'll call it 27. All right. So
well, it's actually 18 on game day.
Well, I know it's on game day, but somebody like on the actual roster itself.
That actually there isn't a limit, dude. Not the
Can't
last
they
time I
call up
checked.
like youth players? That's why they all got these.
Yeah,
Yeah, there might not be a limit,
Yeah,
but I
okay,
mean,
so-
they're only gonna have so many on
the payroll.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
but
let's call it. Let's
call up
call
the
it.
youth players, dude. Can't they call up like any youth player into?
Okay, we get that. Okay, we get that. Hang on. See, now you're starting to tick me off, Profe. Hang on one second here. Don't make me get mad at you, Profe, because you know I got backup.
Is that so? Who made you pope of this dump? Huh?
So don't forget. Anyway, so let's say 30. So let's do some math. So it's 30 times 18, which is what
Wait, what? You lost me.
540 professionals in Liga MX, right? So let's take away the 30 from Chivas because those are all
maletas.
I was going to let y'all fill the blank there. So it's 510. Now the rule says that it's just a game day rule, right? So it's a 9-9. So that means that the minimum Mexican player you would have to have on a team is 9, right? That's the minimum. Correct? I mean they don't have the 5 foreigner max rule. Now they have the 9 local player minimum rule.
The homegrown.
Yeah. So let's say that most teams will probably keep between but like 10 to 12, maybe 14, probably half the roster. So with that, so we have 510. So let's divide that by, like 2.3. That's about 220 players. So there's 220 players roughly that play that are Mexican that play in Liga MX.
How many?
Probably between 200 and 250. I don't know the exact number.
Okay.
Well, I kind of have a number here, John.
You have a number. So you made me do all that freaking math in my head, Joel. And
I just got it right now.
Okay.
I just got it now.
All right.
But for the clausura, it was 189.
189.
Foreigners for clausura. But because they changed it up to the 9-9.
Right.
So now it's a bit less.
Foreigners?
Yeah. It's 178.
So it went down by 8.
Wait. So the naturalizados, they don't count or what?
Well, it says 178 futbolistas originarios de fuera de México.
And how many de Mexico?
I don't have that. I don't have that number. I could tell you some of the other numbers. 65 Argentines, 26 Colombians.
So 65. So Liga MX, go through the rest of the numbers. So, but 65 Argentines. But go through the rest of the numbers.
26 Colombians, 20 Chileans, and 15 of ragtag. Like Japanese, Spaniard, what have you. So it's 16 other nationalities.
Joel, who's the Japanese player that joined Liga MX?
Y ese qué onda?
I think it's Tanaka, right?
Yeah, okay, so I got the full list now. 17 from Uruguay, 14 from the United States, 11 from Paraguay, 7 from Ecuador, 5 Brazilians, 5 Peruvians, 2 Spaniards, 1 Frenchman, 1 Japanese, 1 Costa Rica, 1 from Ghana, 1 from Honduras, and 1 from Cabo Verde.
Right. What
about all those capitalinos that they wear Real Madrid's jersey, and they're Spaniards?
Are you trying to incite something?
No, not at all.
I'm gonna share the link to the site, John.
Profe, it almost feels like like when you come on the show that you it's almost as if someone else takes over for you, like someone like starts controlling you. It was like a voodoo doll for stuff you say. It's almost like Fernando just dropping them left and right.
Fernando
just throwing shade, attacking chilangos. It's harsh.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. But the number there, I think the key number is 65 from Argentina, and that's just in Liga MX. So that to me is a number that that the Mexican players should try to reach in MLS. Because if there's over 500 spots and or where the number is between 400 and 500 and half of them will be taken by foreigners, you just don't have those opportunities. So you got a great big league, a 2-hour flight away.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a trend that might happen as we see Jonah and Vela come to MLS. I wonder what Gignac is thinking, seeing this happen. When you have these guys from Europe that are, established in Europe, and then they come back to MLS instead of Mexico, whereas he went straight to Mexico. I wonder if he's, sort of wishing he was in LA
he was close. I think he was close to signing for Galaxy.
Yeah, and then future European players like this Honda dude and even Argentinians, instead of coming to Mexico for the money, why not choose MLS if they can
But
get?
see, but I think this proves that still that Mexico is still attracting players for the money, but also for the level of play. I think all things being equal, I think Mexico still offers a higher level of play for potential imports.
I think these guys don't want to deal with the culture in Mexico, like Vela, Gio, Jonah.
Yeah,
because they could probably make similar money. They just don't feel like dealing with the media and the culture that the Mexican league brings, and the pressure.
Yeah, I can see that, and that's why I hate what Chicharito said. He's such a little baby. He's crying about, you're so negative in Mexico and all this stuff. Why can't we be positive? And that's not even the case. He's just being a little crybaby, and that's ruining that. That's ruining well.
Dude, have you ever read the comment on anything that Chicharito posts anywhere? Have you ever read the comments on that?
So what?
I'm asking. I mean, have you? I mean, when you post stuff, do you get comments like that, Chiquis?
No.
Do you get people that just shred you?
He's not the only one, though.
Oh, I know he's not the only one.
There are plenty of people who handle it better, and this goes back to the comments.
Look, I'm not defending the guy at all. I'm just, I mean, I can certainly see where
he's also glorified. He's also glorified. People call him crack all over the place and saying he's the awesomest.
But I think ultimately, though, I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you. They should be thicker skinned for sure, and they have to know that what they're dealing with. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you have to like it, and if you don't have to deal with it, then F it. They won't. And at the end of the day, I mean, they're gonna. It's kind of just funny the way like they do it just to avoid it and have the easier way, but it just adds fuel to their critics' fire.
Yeah, I think Liga MX needs to get a little bit worried about Vela going to MLS because other star players, even from South America, I think might decide to go MLS if that's a viable option. Even if the
I don't think so. I don't.
Me neither.
I don't think
because they're still attracting a lot of good players.
I know, but there comes to, I mean, even in my point of view, there comes to a point where money is more important than quality of play.
Like, who's the best player in the MLS? Jovinko?
Hey, but the MLS
probably like.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say like they're not. It's not like they're attracting top talent, like South American talent, and I don't think the Vela move is gonna make South Americans come up here.
Yeah, but what MLS has attracted and has for a while is I mean are they going to get the Jacks? Not yet, but what they are getting is what Mexico's been feasting on from years are the Argentine attacking midfielders, or the Paraguayan forward or whatever. That's who MLS has been getting, and that's as they have more money and capital available to spend on players. And yeah, I think the MX should be extremely worried about that because I think that's coming.
I do think. Go ahead, John. All right, Joel.
Yeah, well, they have been making a strong push to bring in better players, and I think since they're going to be opening up more teams, expanding, and I mean you could see it. Galaxy signing the two Dos Santos brothers, and they usually they would bring in a national team Mexican player, but he would be already hanging his boots, and these guys are still in the prime, and even Vela will be about
Questionable
29
for Gio.
I know, but still, I mean, you're seeing that they're going after much younger players now. They're having more and more money to pay.
I also don't think it's too bad. Like, it's so bad that MLS gets more competitive, because I think it'll make Liga MX is going to have to get their shit together and start.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's going to make Liga MX more competitive.
Yeah,
and if more Mexican players play in MLS and MLS gets more competitive, then at that point, then if we can start seeing if more players are playing, then yeah, we're going to start seeing more players separate themselves from.
Because right now, Liga MX teams play MLS, and it's not competition, and we're not playing Libertadores, so we don't really have a competition that's challenging us.
There's that the games. I mean, I know that it's been a while, but like the Salt Lake Monterrey was very competitive in the finals. I mean, there have been some where they haven't, like the Montreal Club America, where they haven't necessarily been as competitive, but. I think if you catch both of them in mid-season form, I'm not saying that. I really would have a hard time believing that Liga MX is going to win every single one of those series. So.
Yeah, I'm with John. What John said earlier, this league is ripe for. I think Mexicans could just be a bigger influence here. There's no reason why we shouldn't. The way that there's Argentines in Liga MX, that we can't. I think we have the talent. I think there's more players like Corbelin, like Oribe. We have way more players of that, caliber that they're not getting a chance, and I think they should just take advantage and come over here. And they don't have to stay here. I mean, they could eventually, the really good ones will eventually leave to better teams. But it pays to have more leagues where, where you're a presence.
But
and another thing,
won't sign those players right now.
The MLS might help a lot of these guys make the jump to England.
Aren't they looking for?
It's not just England though. I mean, understand. I mean, MLS is they put on an hourly show like ML, this week in MLS, and they broadcast that or try and get it on as many countries as possible. I know it's on a lot in Europe, so you have more visibility, exposure. I asked, there's a guy that writes for Foodmex Nation who lives in England, and I said, dude, how do you watch Liga MX games? He's like, it almost like, I'll tell you tomorrow behind them, but just basically, obviously he has no way of watching other than going to one of the pirate sites, and that is just it is crazy to me in this day and age. Crazy to me that happens.
I can respect that, dude, because.
I can respect it too. Believe me, I've watched,
and you value it a lot more because that's kind of like us back when we were trying to watch Copa Libertadores. Having to get
when I was living in Philadelphia and our cable system, this was like for Italia 90, which is a terrible World Cup, but it was still a World Cup. I figured out that I could watch Univision on my little 13-inch TV if I stretched my antenna as long as I could and then attached like another 4 feet of Reynolds wrap and have it touch my mirror, and it would be able to, and I could actually like maybe read the score. So yeah, there's I certainly respect it, but the fact is, Ronnie, is that I mean, I know that Liga MX it thrives here in the U.S., but they have to at some point start looking beyond the U.S., don't they?
I think they do.
I mean, it's a great league. Why don't they want to show it? Why not show it off? It's a great league.
I think they need to start marketing more towards Mexican Americans, in more English content, because I mean the kids that are growing up now.
But not just the U.S. I'm talking about. Everywhere.
I understand
South America, Europe.
I feel like the kids now that are coming up, they have so many options. Some of them choose not to watch Liga MX because I mean the quality of the game isn't as good as say La Liga. So when you're a kid and you have all these options, when we were growing up, we didn't have all these options. We had 9 Liga MX games, and that was pretty much it.
Speak for yourself. I had one game.
I had one game a week, and it was on tape.
One game on Sunday.
And we didn't get the audio because it was like obviously the audio they got the whole thing, and it was the same looped crowd noise for 90 minutes.
I had Dish Network, and we had all the Liga MX games.
No, you needed if you wanted the Liga MX games when I was growing up, you needed the gigantic parabolica, dude.
Yeah.
To get the Mex feed.
But sometimes you wouldn't. You get sometimes you would, or sometimes you could get the channels from Mexico.
I was a slob at one point. I remember when Univision, I think Univision, yeah, they went from showing like the best game of the world, that week, if it was like a Champions League game or a English game or Italian games, whatever it was, they'd show that like Sunday at noon. But then they got the contract with Liga MX, and I was like, man, and the team that was playing at noon at the time, I think it was Atlante. It was like, man, I don't want to have to watch this crap. But that was a long time ago.
I remember when Telemundo got Celaya.
Yeah.
And they were showing the Celaya home games, and they were Saturdays at night.
I got a question.
They had Butragueño. Those are good games.
They won a title with him, didn't they, Joel?
No, they got to the final and they lost to Necaxa, and that's when they changed the rule of the away goals counting in the final, because it was 1-1.
Oh, really?
So Necaxa won it, on away goal.
Was that when Necaxa was owned by Televisa, Joel?
Yes, sir. And they had Manolo.
What a
was
surprise!
Manolo there, or was it his assistant?
No, it was Manolo.
What a surprise! Yeah. And so we should put an asterisk by that one too, Joel.
Yeah, no, that was the rule. They did away with that rule after that tournament, though.
Which is the tournament that we put the asterisk by, Joel?
The Pro Day, dude.
The Pro.
But why doesn't Mexico '86 get it though?
That as well. All of those kids.
No, you always say Pro Day '85. You want to discredit America?
No, all of those. Like Monterrey, Cruz Azul.
Yeah, Monterrey won the '86 one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
That was that was when the national team took a year off.
Yeah. So.
And then did a worldwide tour. So Tigres was like decimated, and then Pumas was decimated. So the team that had no national team members, which in this case was Monterrey, ended up winning the, and it was called the Torneo México 86, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you, Joel. The Pro that to me is much shadier.
Even.
How can it be shady if every club agreed to it?
Well, it just depends on how they sign that.
Maybe
they gave him an offer they could refuse. Something was going to be on that contract.
That's like some Kiko from the Vecindad shit. Where he's mad and then he just takes the ball. He's like, nope, fuck you guys. That's what that's like.
So for Carlitos Velas, this Chiquis, you think this is just a lifestyle move?
Yeah, mostly. I think he's still going to try hard. He still wants to be a big name in the league and do well for the team. But based on prior statements and stuff, it's a lifestyle deal.
Do y'all think it was LAFC's first choice to bring Carlos Vela?
No. I think the first choice was Cheech.
I don't know, Joel, did you see when the Mexico played Croatia at the Coliseum? And the minute Cheech came out, remember the banner that they had? There was a Chapulín Colorado.
No, I missed it, John.
It said at the time. I might even have a picture of it. I'm gonna have to look at mine. And it was.
I feel like this Vela move has been in the works for a while. I don't know if you guys remember. I think last year or the year before, Real Sociedad did a U.S. tour. I'm not saying that they did a tour for Vela. I'm just saying, like, I felt like that was kind of like his welcoming party here. And then by that time, I think Gio had already moved. So I feel like this was in the works for a while for him.
Yeah, so it was L.A. It was in Hart, and I forget what the message was, but there was obviously the Chapulín for Chicharito. So they were wooing him hard. The LAFC.
LAFC, that's right. They had because LAFC they hosted the event.
Right.
They hosted the game at the Coliseum, and they did do something like that. But I do think they're still going after another big name. The people that own the club, it's a couple owners, like 10, and they've dropped serious money. And you're right. They even had Will Ferrell do a video. No, but they had a Will Ferrell video, saying Chicharito, please come to LAFC. But I
want to say in regards to the Mexican youth players coming over, I don't think the MLS is gonna particularly target youth.
Dude, I'm not talking about youth players. I'm talking about like the guys between 22 and 25. That how many Liga MX guys make their league debut at 25, 26?
Yeah, but
those are the guys I'm talking about.
The guys they'll target are the guys that are on the national team, because what they're looking as names that will put seats in the stands.
Yeah,
so,
dude, they got a lot of roster spots to fill.
You know,
and how are they going to fill those spots, Juan, with the NCAA college draft?
Well, but that doesn't mean that they're going to give the opportunity.
Well, I understand that, but understand the opportunity, Juan. I'm not saying that each MLS team is going to have 7 Mexican players. There's going to be 28 teams in MLS. 28 teams in MLS.
So what you're saying?
They're at 22 right now. That is 6 teams.
Yeah,
those are a lot of roster spots across
definitely.
the board. So that's why we have that. That's why Mexican players should look at that as an opportunity for them.
Oh, I see what you're saying, but I don't think they're going to target them. But definitely, I mean, those guys.
Dude, I mean,
why close the door?
Yes, MLS is going to get guys. They're going to try and sell tickets. I get that, but there's still 20. There's still 10 other guys that have to play. There's going to be Carlos Vela. Maybe there'll be one other guy, and then they have to fill 9 other starter spots.
And again, they're going to target Cheech.
Oh, there's
or maybe Guardado, or is he going to go to Atlanta?
Isn't he Atlanta?
All the Mexican bros are in LA, man.
He's been linked to them. I mean, there's a lot of Mexicans in Georgia too.
No, I mean their buddies.
His buddies.
National team, yeah. Oh. Ochoa, I see Ochoa coming. I mean, he's in standard. Even if he does good, I don't see no top La Liga team offering to bring him in. And it's like, do you want to go back to another relegation team, or do you just want to cash out a fat check and be with your Mexi bros and
go to the Laker game?
I mean, I don't think
so. Hector Moreno.
Have the Molero in your backyard. What?
No, I said Hector Moreno, not Molero.
Herrera. I think
Herrera's ready to come back.
Yeah, man. Herrera is I'm sure his.
Even some Americans playing in Liga MX.
That's a disappointment.
Can we really hate on these guys?
Yeah.
Though? They've been working for over
more
10
than
years.
more than the Mexi Bros.
Yeah.
Because
I think he
had an unbelievable World Cup in 2014, and he
was on, he was like Xavi light.
Yeah, but I mean,
well, more like biscuits.
The Mexi Bros were they came from La Masia, and to go in their mid-20s into the MLS, that's super disappointing.
Dude, La Masia produces a lot of players that don't pan out.
Yeah, in La Liga.
Who's that dude that competed with Gio?
Bojan
Kirkic.
He's had a similar career.
Yes, he has.
Raul Jimenez did.
Last he was at Sunderland. The last I heard of him.
I could see Raul Jimenez staying in Europe for a while.
Well, he didn't start today, I think, or yesterday. He played maybe 20 minutes or 10 minutes.
He's still a stud, though. I don't care.
Yeah, he's a stud.
They're dissing him, though, man. He might get upset.
Well, I think they've been dissing him since day one. They're
he turned down
demanding
a
bunch.
$56 million transfer offer from China. So I don't think the team's going to be too care. They're going to care one way or the other what ends up happening with him.
And he still may get transferred. I mean, because I think at some point Porto's going to have to say, all right, are we going to make sure that this guy plays to make sure we can make a profit off him, or should we just cut our losses at this point since he refuses to go to China?
I think Layun is ready to come back too.
Yeah, Layun will be back. I think Ache would actually be a good
candidate for MLS.
Yep.
I think Layun, because he sure as hell hates the Mexican media. So I'm sure he'd be happy not to deal with him.
Yeah, he could be another LAFC candidate, Layun. I mean, his it seems like they have Vela, right, LA, so now they have Layun. So when they announce him, they can use the LA thing again.
This transfer season's been really a tale of two tales, right? Tale of two halves. That first half, like a bunch of young kids are going. All these.
Now you lost the boy, and he signed today.
We lost two.
Yeah, that's right. But the one that was it Antuna.
Yeah.
That has now officially gone over to the Eredivisie. He's going to play at Groningen, which, if I'm not mistaken, is actually I think he'll be all right there because it's actually a college town. So he'll have plenty to look at there in Groningen in Holland.
He gets to learn life and work balance.
That's right. Some fine Dachatis that he will be able to admire from close and from afar.
I don't know, man. He seems like a shorty. He's gonna be he's gonna be looking up at a lot of them.
That's probably very true. But it'll.
But he's a football star.
He is, and that'll be a good spot for him. Hopefully he will. Hopefully it'll. I mean, he seems to have a lot of talent, so maybe he'll be able to get that going. And then Chicharito, if I'm not mistaken, starts his. I don't know how much he's going to play, but he's going to start the Premier League this week with Manchester United, and that if he does score, that he will just either grab the ball and walk it. He ain't going to celebrate it. He won't show up Manchester United like that.
Yeah, he's not celebrating with Manchester United.
Yeah, and then Chiquis, I believe you have big news about a West Ham Manchester United match.
Oh yeah. March next year, I plan on heading to Paris and then driving over to London and check out West Ham, Manchester United.
You could just take the Eurostar and you don't have to drive.
Yeah, something like that. We'll figure something out.
But you got tickets already, right? You have tickets in hand.
No, I don't. Well, tickets for the flight, yeah, but not.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna go see Neymar too.
That's an option because I'll be in Paris for.
That is a cool stadium, dude. If you get a chance, it is just a groovy old little stadium, the Parc des Princes. It's in the southwest part of town. It is. If you get a chance, it's totally worth it. And the best thing about Paris is that you're not within further than 100 yards from a metro from anywhere in the city. It's just incredible.
Yeah, hopefully they could play in the week instead of a weekend. But yeah,
Champions League game
in March. Yeah, maybe.
Ooh, wouldn't that be cool to catch like a quarterfinal or something? One of the radio guys here in Austin was at it was during one of his vacations where he went to Barcelona and he caught the Champions League game where Messi just pretzeled what was that guy's name, Boateng, just turned him into a trenza,
turn him into Verón.
Exactly, just completely tangled his leg. I think the dude ended up falling and obviously Messi scored the goal. And so I asked him, I said, because he said he was there. I said, so what was more impressive, seeing La Sagrada Familia? Is that what it's called? Their cathedral there, the Gaudi, or going to the Camp Nou? And he looked at me and said, "Man," he said, they said I really would, I was appreciating the experience. But he said when Messi scored that goal, he said he's never in his life had he heard a stadium like that. And this guy's been going to, sports events since the mid '80s. Said it was absolutely incredible. So that'll be a lot of fun for you at Chiquis. Hopefully you'll have a similar experience. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, West Ham, they play at the Olympic Stadium, the one from the 2012 Olympics. That is their home stadium. So
Oh, yeah.
If they're having a bad season, there'll be plenty of seats available.
Yeah, I was hoping to go to.
I was reading somewhere they had like the third best attendance last season.
Did they?
Yeah.
It is a cool little team. I mean, it is a historic. There, we talked about it a few weeks ago. I mean, they have their roster of legends is pretty damned impressive. I mean, and it's a London team too, so they're going to be popular just because of that. So, but yeah,
I was reading that even though they did not finish as well in the table, they still had the third best attendance. What's Ron laughing about?
I don't know, but we need to ask. We need to, since he left us, so we put too much pressure on him with our
Probably looking at
MKF
memes.
questions. So
Probably looking at memes on Twitter.
We're gonna have to ask you again, Ron. Now, Ron, are you MKF? Do you have? We have.
Sufriendo cada torneo lo mismo. Duele porque
That's Lady Máquina, and then we have.
no nos merecemos este equipo y no nos merecen como afición porque les falta actitud, les falta partirse la madre.
And of course.
Primero que nada hay que felicitar a Chivas porque ganaron bien. La neta, hay que dejarnos de tonterías.
Or Lady Águila.
What's up, Coach?
So MKF for us, Ron.
I would rather take the girl that was on the
on the money launderer starting 11.
Yeah, she's hot too. What's her name? Irma. What's her name? I'm trying to zoom in here. That's who I would go for. Let me see. There it is. Irma Lisette.
Is there something going on in the chat that I should be aware of, boys?
No, this wasn't in the private chat. This was in the normal chat.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about the live chat right now. Should I be paying attention to the live chat, Joel?
No, it's quieted down a bit.
It's been rocking though. It's been pretty good.
Yeah, excellent. Glad.
John, there was one other celebrity that we failed to mention.
Who's that?
Might be a supporter of West Ham.
Who's that?
I believe the Moz.
The Momo?
Morrissey, the Pope of Mope.
Seriously, but he's from Manchester. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know. There's some controversy as to that, but some rumors, some folks believe that he does.
Is it because it's the most depressing team in the league? Is that why he goes that way?
I have no clue. No.
Yeah.
But having a Mexican there, and he does like Mexicans, so maybe you might see him at the stadium one time.
You think so, huh? What is it about the Mexican that he likes?
You still want to show me your cucumber?
Oh no! Probably all the money that we've made a career. Mexican Americans have made them rich, basically. I think.
Really?
That's he lived in L.A. He lived in L.A. for a really long time.
I had no idea.
During one of his tours, I think it was called Ay Esteban or something like that, where they had the bass drum had a Mexican flag on it. So he was definitely aware of his fans and kind of
because I will admit that. Now you're going to get us into our.
I do it all the time. That's what I do.
Music nerd talk, but I did see Morrissey.
Surge is hanging up right now because he hates Morrissey. And
I think it was 1991 at Starplex in Dallas. And then I went to, and then after that, for whatever reason, I just quit paying attention to him. And I didn't buy any more of his albums or anything else. It was, so yeah, but I mean, it was a great show, but it just cracks me up to see him now. Although he's done like Robert Smith though, but well, I guess I'll have to have another reason to think about maybe keeping up with mention. Who am I kidding? I follow them both on the Twitter in English and Spanish. I'm not gonna lie, I do it, but also do it for Martin, who actually I believe runs the West Ham Spanish Twitter feed. So
I've subscribed.
Have you?
Yeah, I mean, you have to.
Did you drop Leverkusen like a hot potato, Dan?
No, I think they're still there. I believe so. Yeah, I think
That's
so.
why I don't follow any of them.
You don't follow players or teams, Ron?
That whole fanboy, following players and teams and stuff like that is like, eh.
It's not.
What makes it fanboy?
Not fanboyism, man.
It is.
Yeah, it's not fanboyism.
It is. So,
you're keeping an eye on. You're keeping a guy
on
your,
Twitter,
an eye on your guys.
Yeah.
Nah. We need to call our boys back into Liga MX. Go back into the Libertadores and start kicking ass the way we used to.
Remember when I was telling you about illogical conclusions?
Oh, snap.
I'm just saying, dude. I got accustomed to caviar, dude. Okay.
He's not going.
When making the semifinals was
the tilapia
the very minimum.
In a farm?
Was the very minimum for Mexico in Copa Americas, and
What does that have to do with players playing in another league that you want to watch? That gives you a reason to watch more football. Like, that's how I see it. I'm like, it's great. It gives me a reason to watch, because otherwise I have no interest in it.
Did you ever read the movie or not read the book Fever Pitch?
No.
Never did. Remember where he talks about, it's like, back now, granted, I know it's a lot more global and this is, it's never going to go back to that, but basically, he talked about, the first time he'd watch like some of these players, like these superstars from like, South America. It's like you'd heard about them, but then when you'd actually see them play and stuff like that, like you're amazed. Like, just imagine being back in the 60s and 70s and seeing Pelé play for the first time, and you'd like rarely seen any video footage. I don't know. It's like it's too much football. Sometimes I guess cheapens it. It's like,
but
it's
but
like
you're always getting first time experience.
What's that?
You're always going to have that first time experience, though. So that doesn't cheapen anything.
It does, dude. I mean, like watching like every, you gotta follow Cheech and West Ham. You gotta follow.
You don't have Roma. To. You choose to. I don't have to do anything. We choose to do it.
And you don't have to follow.
But I will agree with you, Ron, that I do not follow players. Because I don't really care about their personal life and that stuff. But I do.
You're right. I mean, at our age, we shouldn't be doing that. It's like, dude,
I prefer to follow the outlets that have to follow.
Beto,
Beto,
don't let that go. Don't just let that slide, dude.
Let me explain to Ron a little bit. It's not fanboyism because, like John says, if you follow the outlets, right? The outlets, who do they follow? They follow Cheech. They follow these teams to get news out of them.
Yeah, but they get paid to do that. You don't. Okay. Big difference.
Yeah, but why wait for the outlets? Why get it from secondhand clickbait stuff from the outlets? Get it straight from the source, from Rafa or from Cheech.
I know, but I mean, think about it. I mean, following these players,
but
it's like beta boys, dude.
Rarely do they put anything newsworthy out there. Most of the time, it's
okay to just be entertained, though, Beto.
Yeah, it's for the lulz too. It's just
for me,
the drama.
It's Liga MX, watching Liga MX, studying the statistics. And then the only thing that I really follow are just the memes.
Maybe you're just a snob, Ronnie. Maybe you're just a snob.
You are the Grand Maester of Liga MX, and you have to look at Liga MX a different way.
Hey,
you're like the keeper of the flame, so you want to, you're the recorder of history.
Yeah,
speaking of the Liga MX statistics, somebody in the YouTube channel, they said America has 11 Paraguayans. Is that true?
Right now?
Yeah.
Nah, they don't have 11 Paraguayans
on the bench.
They have 11 Paraguayans, but not Paraguayans. Do we have any Paraguayans?
I think that there's like 8 or 9 Paraguayans.
Did you miss the reference to what was it, Chevy Chase movie? Was it Spies Like Us? Yeah, it's like,
great.
Do we have any Paraguayans in here? Everybody.
I'm gonna have to get some drops from that because that really is just a terrific movie.
It is. It's like Chevy Chase. He's like
totally underrated.
He's a press officer, and they're asking him questions about an issue in Paraguay, and he just giving bullshit answers. He's like, "Boy, do we have any Paraguayans in here?"
Yeah, it's just a terrific movie. It was his last great movie.
Yeah.
Of that, there is
the scene where he's cheating with Dan Aykroyd. Like, what's the case?
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand back. I am a trained physician.
Hey, have you guys seen that movie? John, I know you have, but what about the other guys?
I don't like the fanboy too much on those movies, man.
Jesus.
Oh, snap.
That's culture, dude. That's culture.
Man, that is.
I don't want to buy the jersey for that movie, dude.
He's coming strong.
I know. He got mad because I called him a beta boy.
How dare you call me a fanboy, man? That's the biggest insult. I will never call a player on Twitter or whatever. Okay, crack. I will never call him crack. I'll say, okay, good job or whatever. But
yeah, that's
fanboy. That's fanboyism.
Yeah.
I was a Rafa fanboy.
I call Chucky crack all the time.
I swooned when I saw him.
Yeah, I was a Rafa fanboy
That's
too.
a little different. That's a little different when you want to give someone a hug or something. That's a different type of fanboy. That's an acceptable type of fanboyism.
Oh, okay, cool.
You still want to show me your
I remember. I don't remember who the reporter was, but to me, I thought this was. I need to look him up again, but I thought this was really cool what he did. He was interviewing what's his name, Landon Donovan, and apparently I think Gillette was hosting an event or something, and he asked him, "So how old were you when you first shaved?" And I'm like, I can't give some number in the age of 67. Okay, and how old were you when you shaved your face for the first time? You know, he's like, he was being kind of being like a smart ass. And I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Hit it, John. Hit it.
Not the crickets. I'm saying, there's just, not being a fanboy,
Yeah.
You can't be a fanboy, dude.
I get it.
So are you a fanboy then, Beto?
No.
This is going to be the Chiste Cagado episode.
Oof.
I follow a few players. I'd rather follow a few players than follow the teams.
Yeah, I think
Some of the teams are annoying. Some of the teams are annoying. Like their social media presence is annoying. So I'd rather follow one or two players that I like.
Yeah, who do you follow there?
Like on Instagram, I follow Pizarro and I follow Trophies. And that's it. I follow Chivas account, and Chivas account is super annoying. Like I'd rather just not follow them.
Sometimes it's good to follow accounts or team accounts because they troll each other. Like MLS teams, I think, do it. They'll troll
on Instagram,
on Twitter.
On Twitter, okay.
Yeah, there was a really good one this week of the Portland Timbers made of LA Galaxy.
I mean, so the MLS social media game is really good.
I have to admit, I genuinely enjoy 90% of the content that I get from the Santos Twitters, both the Spanish and English. A lot of it's redundant, but
I like the troll,
but it's really good.
Even like when what is it the Dutch flight KLMB or whatever. When Mexico got eliminated, they trolled the Mexico. They trolled the Mexico fans.
That was pretty funny. Didn't KLM do it too? Did the airline do it?
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Now the Dutch women won the women's Eurocopa this week, and I only bring it up because I thought it was really cool that the KNVB, the Dutch, I guess the Dutch FMF, the Dutch Football Federation, changed their logo, their crest, and instead of having a lion on it, they had a lioness, which I thought was really groovy for them. Really? And they ended up winning the Eurocopa. I mean, they're becoming a force in women's soccer. So
who do they beat?
Well, I couldn't tell you that. I just saw that there was a lot of orange on my Twitter on Sunday, so because they'd won. So I couldn't tell you. I would assume it was England or France or maybe Germany. I have no idea.
Okay.
But I did think it was pretty cool that they. I just did something that I haven't done since like my college days. Oh my goodness! So I have 2 cans of beer here. I had one earlier. Opened up another one a while ago, and I thought I had like a good swig left, and I grabbed like the older one. At least there wasn't a cigarette butt in there. Like,
Are you watching any of the Liga Femenil, John?
I am not. I am not a women's soccer fan. It's nothing against women's soccer. It's not something that I particularly enjoy.
What about you, Rigo?
No, I don't.
But I do want to see my Pumitas do well, though. I'm not gonna lie. So hopefully,
Hey Ron, are you trying to be our VP of diversity and culture on the podcast?
I'm just trying to talk. I just want to get your take on the puta chant. You guys cool with that one?
There was a puta chant. That's
that's terrible.
I actually want to hear Fern.
I mean, the fact that it happened once, it cracks me up. But I mean,
I want to hear Fernando's take on that, man.
Because here's the thing, though, because Carlos Alvet, he really went off the rails on this one. Because, and it's funny because this is the type of guy, this is the guy that I've heard many times say that, like, hey, it happens on the field, it happens on the stands, we have, it's like, I think the way he said it once was that, we've told, we talk crap to each other, and we've been doing it for the last 100 years. It's like, it's part of the game. But he really got upset because he says that, when you change it from puto to puta, it changes the word completely.
Well, it's a different meaning word. But it's just a word, though. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it does. But I mean, look, do I want to hear it at every game? No. I mean, the fact that they did it once, I think, is actually pretty funny. But whatever.
Ribbing between guys is one thing. Disrespecting a woman, I guess, is something on a different level. But if you take equality into account, then maybe it shouldn't be on a different level.
I think looking at it culturally, I mean, I think part of the argument for those advocates for the puto chant is that if you understood the joke, that we're not really trying to be homophobic here. We're just doing it.
Joder, that's it. You're trying to joder.
So, and you could say that. I mean, and that's true. Even amongst guys will use that word amongst each other. Just being guys. But saying puta, that's, I don't know.
But here's the thing.
That's always
but
bad.
Even when
right?
you tell a guy no says puto, what are you saying? Don't be a faggot.
No.
Yeah.
That's not what I said.
But that's what a puto is.
Exactly.
So
I agree.
But see, I personally don't use the word puto as that. To me, it has a different meaning. But it's just where I come from. It just means something different.
But it stems to that word, though, because it stems to being girly or less manly or not able to do.
Occasionally, I've heard it used as being like if you're like womanizing, andando de puto. Like sometimes, like I know I've heard that.
That's womanizing, yeah.
That's womanizing. So that's.
I mean, Pep Guardiola called Mourinho. He called him el puto jefe, el puto amo.
El puto amo, yeah.
So to me, I mean, the word puto has so many different meanings.
So yeah,
other than the word faggot. I mean, and
yeah, but in this
unfortunately, the whole issue about this whole is because that's the one
that's the flavor of the month
that's stuck. And because of that, then if sanctions are involved, then it has to stop. I mean, it's just.
But what's funny is that
it's funny till you lose an eye, and somebody lost an eye.
The puto
I'm serious.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
The puto chant, though. I mean, we've all been to the games. We all know that even the women say it.
Yes.
Well, everybody says it.
Everybody says. Everybody. Even kids say it.
Right.
But at the game I
saw a 2-year-old saying it.
I know for the feminine, it's also the women that were saying it too.
Of course.
I feel like it's not a problem like on a national level in Mexico. It's more on an international level where like all these other Latin American countries or European countries hear it and like they don't have the same connotation.
FIFA wouldn't have cared 2 snits about it until the other countries started doing it.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. I mean,
I don't even think it was that big a deal as long as
they wanted to nip it in the bud immediately.
I think if it stayed within South America and Mexico, it's the international games where you hear it like in front of a global audience is where that's where it gets.
Dude, I hear it constantly
Exposed.
at MLS games, constantly.
Yeah,
and you hear it also like the punchline of jokes, like "puto el que."
Right. I mean, that's why to me, that's why a lot of Mexicans say, "What is the big deal?" Because it has, as you all have pointed out, it has a multitude of meanings.
Yeah.
But the one that stuck was, you know, the faggot one, the male prostitute. That's the one that stuck. And because of that, and because of what FIFA did at the Confed Cup, you know, the Mexican fans finally got the message. You know what, guys? You know, puto el que grita puto. You know, enough. Move on. Let's screen something else that's idiotic.
What's the number that is banned or that no one wears in Mexico? What is it? The 50? No, what's this?
58? No.
58?
No. There's no, not that one. That's actually because of a radio station. There's a
talks about this in a previous podcast, like a lot.
There's
we have.
There's this because of, and it was a joke that El Chavo or Chapulín, one of them, made a reference to once. That's a number they can't use because it's a reference to.
La bruja del 72.
No, not that one. No. I'm gonna have to look it up again. I think it's like 51 or 50. Or one of those numbers is not. No one uses that because it's because basically it's a reference to homosexuals. You know, surprised no one, they haven't said anything about that. You know,
is that your? Is that your? Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Obviously, it wasn't terribly important. Well, gentlemen, we should probably wrap it up here on the CantinaMX podcast. I really thought we'd have some calls, but Jakey, you said you set up the phone.
They're heartbroken, dude. They probably don't even want to call.
Yeah. They can't even lift a finger to dial the. You know, they can just say, "Hey Siri, call this number," and then you know it would happen. So again, you know, have to play the sad flute for all the three fans this week who saw Carlos Vela go to LAFC thinking that his three career is over, and then the captain.
Who's going to be the leader now?
Our captain, who is going to be? Who is it? It's a great question. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Nestor Araujo, Moreno?
Guardado, probably.
Probably him. I would prefer HH.
So be the leader. I don't even want him playing.
You know who it has to be is La Chofis. La Chofis needs to come
up.
That's
what it should be. I'm anticipating his call up. Very disappointed if he's not. But
so you know, is
I wouldn't mind
Nestor though. Now I have heard it's too bad. Do we have any Nestor? Well, maybe he'll come back on. I have heard the name Nestor being bantied about again for FMF stuff, but they can't do that.
De la Torre?
Yeah, I heard it this week. My little birds told me that he's also been shopped. That the Nestor trial balloon has gone up in the air. What about me? But yeah, so it's been a rough week for fans of mine and for Dan in particular, who now is going to have to find another pattern baldness buddy to look up to. And
Guardado, he I think he's going through it.
Is he really?
He's just a little bit younger than I. I think he's just a little bit younger than I am.
Yeah, and you know, I haven't seen Torrado in a while. I'm not sure. I mean, he was cutting the hair shorter and shorter as we all do as we get older.
Yeah, he and I both have a 5 head. That's true.
Yeah, so there's hope for you yet, Dan. You'll be able to find somebody else fairly quickly.
I'm still not quite like Stephen Miller's 6 head, but I'm catching up.
What you need to do is have the have the full head of hair like Joel, so you can do the he can go. Well, I guess Rodrigo could both go the full Almeida when they win the double.
Well, I'm hoping that we get pick up some sponsors for some money, and then with that money, I'll go and get some Regenics to just get my hair back.
So Dan, I think that this year, instead of painting your boy's face with the green war paint if Santos wins, what you should do is grow the Chepo half goatee. You know, the 7 o'clock shadow goatee that he has.
I can attempt that, an ugly one, but what the hell?
Yeah. So if they win, you should sport the Chepo half goatee. All right.
Deal.
Prior to leaving, I think obviously with the big news with the Rafa Marquez, if that hadn't have happened, I think right now the biggest news right now is Lobos Buap, starting off fairly well.
Yes.
Do you guys think that the little incident that, like, I think people are going to forget about the incident now with the whole Rafa thing, but with the two players, Palacios and I forget the other one.
So it was a brawl. Is that what happened?
You know what? I've read a couple different reports. I don't know which one's true, but apparently it was a fight amongst themselves or something like that.
I read that there was like an argument with one of them and a woman, and one of them was, I think Palacios was trying to hit the woman, and the other player stepped in, and they got into a fight.
And somebody got their ass kicked pretty good. And had to go to the hospital, right?
Yeah. I think it was the player who was defending the woman was the one that had to go to the hospital.
I mean, that's a shame because, I mean, honestly, for a club, fairly new team in Liga MX, start off as good as they did, and they've done it against good teams too.
They started off hot, yeah.
But I think it's commendable what they did, though. Most teams would, if it was a star or if it was a really good player, they would have just been like swept it under the rug. And they were just no nonsense. I don't know. I haven't watched none of their games, so I don't know how good these guys are.
Well, you can't watch their games because they don't have a TV deal.
No, I know, but they're away games at least.
Right.
Yeah. And
so
I think actually they play Pumas this week, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully, I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get worried for Pumas because our good seasons fall off this year, and if they don't have a decent couple of at least get like between 20 and 25 points for these next two seasons, things are gonna get ugly for Pumas next year for sure.
John,
you think Valencia's gone if they don't make the Liguilla?
I mean, I don't know how they can, but I mean, the reality is they're just not. And no, I didn't get a chance to watch the America game, Ronnie. I was working, unfortunately.
What about you?
I heard it was really good, though.
Yeah, Beto, did you watch it?
Yeah, it was robbery.
Did you why did you call Cecilio a punk?
Because he was talking smack with the
goalie. Yeah. What was up with that?
I think the goalkeeper was trying to get in his head and say,
"You know that would have never would have happened if that was Picolín."
Never.
Yeah,
and then he Panenka.
Gator don't pay that.
I'm surprised he tried to Panenka after they Panenka the first time and it failed.
What a perfect time to do it.
Yeah, I know. Piojo said in Fútbol Picante that he got a little upset about that too, and he made it up to his players.
When does Pio have time to coach when he's on TV like every freaking day?
Dude, but that's what he did for the national team too, man. He's in the media capital of Mexico. He's gonna be
you know what? He's got the team. I didn't expect for the team to be functioning so well. I'm not saying that they're championship bound, but he's got the team playing. He's got the team playing, fairly well, and.
But isn't everyone saying that they won because of I didn't watch the game, but they won because of
they should have been the winners. I mean, they took it to Pumas. They one penalty. Now I can agree. I can understand. I mean, I can understand why the referee called it, but it was a bullshit penalty. BS. But the other one was clear as day. I think it was the right results. Pumas did some interesting things. I really don't want Valencia to get fired, but I understand John's concern. You know.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, the season's still young, so if they can get to 20, 25 points, but I mean, the thing is that since last season, I mean, it just has not been good, and I know it's a start, so we'll see how it turns out. I mean, they can go on a 3-game win streak, and they'll be in first place. So
yeah, so I mean, I'm feeling good right now as to how he's taking the team, and I didn't expect that much from this Cecilio Dominguez kid. I really did. I mean, he's 23, 24 years old, 23, something like that.
He's not bad.
No, he's really, really good. I was like, wow.
Is he America good?
It's too early to tell. But one of the things that obviously,
well, he seems to have the whole
he's got
America personality down.
Well, it's one thing,
Did you find it labored, Ron? Do you think he was trying too hard?
I've always said that there's a certain type of mentality, a certain type of character that you need to play in a team like America, where you're criticized whether you do good or bad. Not every player.
Which is what you're doing right now.
What's that?
Criticizing the guy for playing well.
No. I'm just saying that I don't think the criticism has come yet, even when he's doing well. So
y'all still in the honeymoon period.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for example, like I'll give you an example. Chaco Jimenez, when he came to America, I was actually pretty excited that he was going with the team.
Right.
But I mean, with America, same thing with Walsall. I mean, they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle the pressure. They didn't do very well. But then obviously, Chaco goes to Pachuca and he kills it over there. Certain players can handle that type of pressure, and I'm hoping that the Cecilio, the kid, can do it. I mean, because with Edson and Lainez and like these kids, these guys that are like under 20, 22, 23, 24. I mean, if America if Piojo can get the team, and get a good base, especially in the middle and in the back, I think it can be. I don't care who's in the front, dude, because that never has really mattered. It's always the midfield, and for at least for me, it's the midfield and the defense. You gotta set up the base there,
Yeah, but it doesn't help to have the finisher, and America has historically always had very good finishers.
Yeah, but
they make every concerted effort to get them.
True. But like, for example, even in America, in its dynasty, golden dynasty in the '80s, the defense in the midfield, they were the consistent, they were solid. But like in the early parts of the '80s, it was for example, it was
But it wasn't like they were struggling to score goals.
No, they weren't. But it didn't matter if it was Brailovsky or if it was Hermosillo or if it was Peláez or if it was Aguirre. It didn't matter, because the team was always, because of the middle and the midfield and the defense, they always were able to give the balls to the forwards in advantageous positions.
I think, and it's called Historia Liga MX. Is a great, actually, it's a great follow if you get a chance, if you haven't followed it before. They just post old pictures of Liga MX players and teams and stadiums and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they posted a picture of Capitan Furia with his brother when his brother was at Atlético Español. Mm-hmm. And man, Capitan Furia was a beast, man. He was huge.
That guy was a physical specimen.
Man.
Historia Liga MX?
Yeah.
It's
terrific.
Who's handling it?
The handle? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. But they do post. They do have a lot of great stuff on there.
There's an underscore, right?
Oh, good Lord. You boys. Boy, this really just maybe we should just play some music or something while we look this up.
Yeah, but so far the two teams that have kind of impressed me so far is Lobos and America. I didn't expect those two teams to be doing as well as they did so early on.
Yeah, it's Historia _ Liga MX. Or I'm sorry, History _ Liga MX is the.
Oh.
Was that right? Yeah, I think it is.
So it's an English run account?
No, it's in Spanish, but it's just called History _ Liga MX.
History _
Liga MX. Yeah. They just have some great old pictures. Yeah, and they had that one of Capitan Furia. He just looked like a monster. But anyway, back to and then Chivas, they tied 2-2 against Necaxa. They were up 2-0. Is that right, Rigo? Do we need to?
Yeah, they were up
you need to
2-0,
get it off,
and
you need to get it off your chest.
They were up 2-0, and then we tied, and then we should have won. We didn't, but I'm not really worried. No.
Yeah, worry hasn't set in just yet.
No, I mean the team's playing well.
You're still hopeful.
We haven't had a full squad.
Did Pizarro score again?
Yes.
Yeah. Did he score another crazy, wonderful goal, or was it?
He set up the first goal. He had a goal and an assist. No, he was it was basically a breakaway one on three. He was by himself against three guys, and he scored from out of the box.
So of course Osorio will call him up and then put him at right back.
At right back or center back,
which is where he started at Pachuca. Well, you played there for a year at Pachuca, so we'll go ahead and put you back there.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about Chivas. I mean, the team is playing well. It's just, we're not scoring goals as we should. I saw the kid at Mayorga played, who spent his whole summer traveling with the national team.
Right.
And I don't know if it was that it was jitters or what it was, but he was really unimpressive. And I just don't think his natural position is left back, which I know he's been playing there. He looked more like a center back to me. But I think Almeida saw that too, and he subbed him out at halftime. The kid, he just looked very imprecise, nervous. But I mean, other than that, I mean, we were missing Aris Hernandez at left back, so I think this week is the first week we'll have a full team, obviously besides Pulido. So we'll see how it goes.
And who does Chivas play this week?
I will let you know in a second. They play.
What you don't even know? How dare you? And you call yourself Mr. Chivas?
And I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
I mean, I live my day a quarter mile at a time.
So they're traveling because they played at home this past week.
Yes. So we have
Monterrey.
Yeah,
Monterrey.
So there you go. So that's going to be
it's going to be a good one.
That should be a good, and it'll be at the Tamalera too. So that'll be and Monterrey's playing well. So I mean, they just put a whooping on Tijuana, who has yet to win a game. And their coach, and seriously, who dresses Chiquis? Do you follow the Tijuana coach Godet? Because I mean, he looks like Tony Montana has, like he has just been double crossed all the time.
I haven't seen it. Let me check it out.
Yeah, I think Ron, if you're listening, you should definitely start following and rooting for Tijuana just because of the coach.
I can see Chivas beating Monterrey though, just because we've been playing well. I mean, the teams that we've drawn with has been Tijuana, Toluca, who's in third, Necaxa, who's in fourth. So
Santos gets Veracruz, and of course Pumas plays Lobos Buap. Atlas plays America, so that'll be we'll see what goes on with Rafa.
I am excited to go to Estadio Caliente and watch Tijuana, even if they are playing bad when they go.
And then they're going to be playing America, right?
America, yeah.
So it'll be at least an entertaining atmosphere.
Yeah.
Now, are you which shirt are you going to wear? I guess depending on what side of the stadium you're going to wear. Are you going to wear a Tijuana shirt, or are you going to wear an America shirt?
I was going to wear a Chivas shirt, but I might just buy a Tijuana shirt when I'm there and wear a Tijuana shirt. Never.
You should write. Just wear a Pumas shirt because Pumas is like the neutrals' favorite, so you'll be okay.
or
Well, you'll have to give us a full report on that when it.
When that rolls around. Probably gonna get drunk with Dan or something. So I'll be there on a Thursday, so we can podcast live.
You can day drink. Oh yeah, well, sure. Well, we could do that too. We could. That's right. You guys can podcast there from
in the front of my
Dan's
driveway.
house. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, the kids get put to bed.
Yeah, I actually have had drinks with Dan. We met back in I think it was 2010 when Texas was playing Alabama in the national championship game, and we were staying in the team was staying. Our team hotel was in Orange County. We were staying at the team hotel because I was part of the radio crew. And, it was good.
I might be going to Austin in October.
Well, there you go. What are you going to be doing here?
I have to go to a conference in Dallas, and I was going to go to Houston afterwards.
Yeah.
But I want to go to have barbecue at Austin, so I might.
Why on earth would you want to go to Houston?
I have one of my friends lives there.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
at least because you wouldn't want to just go to Houston on your own.
No, it's too high over there.
Where should we recommend them? Where should we take them to barbecue?
Well, I want to go to Salt Lake.
No.
That's touristy, man.
I know. I saw it on the travel channel.
Salt Lake is beautiful, but the barbecue is beyond
mediocre.
Mediocre is being polite.
Okay,
no, that's okay, but yeah, it's not the best.
I mean, I've been to Austin. I went to I drank a lot while I was there, and
well, we can do that too.
The only place I went to eat was Juan and a Million. The only place
I used to go to Juan and a Million once a week with my college buddy. Yeah, did you have did you go there for breakfast or were you there for lunch?
I was there for breakfast.
Oh yeah, their breakfast tacos
they were delicious.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a big foodie, so I like to eat when I travel.
Juan has
well,
the owner
you like to
has
eat. I'm sorry, but Houston beats the shit out of Austin.
Oh, there's no question. Houston has world-class restaurants, but who wants to go? Spend $80 for.
No, I want.
You notice when you go to the fancy restaurant, the plate's bigger, and the food is smaller.
I want a hole-in-the-wall barbecue spot that just has like good old-fashioned barbecue. That's my thing.
Well, there's plenty of those in town. I personally, this is just a personal preference. When I want to go on a barbecue adventure, I like to hit the small towns around Austin because I personally believe that there's some great barbecue places here, but I it's just a personal preference. I'd rather go to the small towns around Austin because there is just some outstanding barbecue in the there's Louis Miller's up in Taylor, which is where the Franklin's guy was. That is his mentor. That's where he learned how to cook. And there's Chickies, how far are you from Lockhart? Were you like 15 miles?
Yeah, Lockhart's 15 minutes.
Yeah, Chickies lives in the barbecue capital of the world. 15 minutes from Lockhart, which is just an incredible place because there's 4 world-class barbecue restaurants in this town of 2,000 people. Yeah. It's just not a big town at all. It has these these monster barbecue places. And when I say monster, I don't say big. I'm saying it's just very flavorful. And then there's Luling, which is a little further, that has another place that's incredible. And then if you go west in Llano, they've got one at Cooper's is outstanding. It's just there's so many. Elgin has one. But Ronnie is right though when it comes to like overall restaurants. Houston is certainly the best in Texas, and there's no debate.
I still think, although management changed, but I still think that the best barbecue that I ever had was the original Joe Cotton's, and that was just fucking amazing. I remember the very first time I went there. I went there by accident because one of my fraternity brothers is he's from Robstown. Want to go visit him, so we kind of stopped by.
Cotton picker?
No.
Seriously, that's the high school nickname. They're the Robstown Cotton Pickers.
Oh yeah, you're right. They were very, very good in baseball. I don't know about now, but
yes, they were.
They were very, very good in baseball. But no, he was actually a scholarship football at university.
Wow.
But anyhow, so he says, "Hey man, you guys gotta come over here and eat over here." All right, so went over there, and I was just surprised because they just very, very simple menu, and they just threw the meat on butcher paper.
Right.
And I'm like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Well, we don't get plates."
No.
No. It's like,
why would you
no.
eat plates at a barbecue place?
And I'm like, the lady, she's like, no. So you never eat here? I said, no. I said, I don't get plates. I said, no. It's like, well, back then, Mr. Cotton didn't have money for plates, so he just said, we're just gonna eat it on the wrappers, on the butcher paper. I mean, the only thing that they gave you these little plates for were for like the potato salad or the baked beans and stuff. But it was like just like 3 or 4 sides, like the typical, the potato salad, the beans, the coleslaw. And I don't remember what else. And then I think you had four choices of meat. You had the brisket, the pulled pork. I think you had chicken, if I'm not mistaken, or I don't remember it was chicken, but I just stuck with a brisket and the ribs. It's like, Jesus, I've never had anything that. I mean, like,
man, wow. You're making my mouth water just listening. I'm a
Me
barbecue
too.
fiend. I'm a barbecue fiend. I love it.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't remember if it was you, John, or Beto, but a couple weeks ago, I think you guys like provided a link to like the 50 most.
Oh yeah. Texas monthly.
And it's funny because as I was reading that, I recognized a couple of them, but most of them were like from like
there were a lot of them were for like from 2014 on, which I thought
2014,
like,
and I'm thinking, and a lot of that, I was like, dude, I think I know that it's gotten popular because of the shows and stuff like that, but I'm thinking, dude, most of the places that I eat weren't on that list, and I guarantee you, I mean, these are generations, people of generations that have been doing barbecue, for a long, long time.
Yeah, and when Mexico played the U.S. here in San Antonio, I met Wiesel and some of the other English language writers that follow Mexico. I told them I'm going to this barbecue place, and that was where I took Wiesel, and he called everyone, and that place didn't make that list, and I guarantee you that place deserves to be on that list. I forget what it's called, but it was outstanding barbecue.
You guys know that I try to eat more of a plant-based diet. Like like I said, I don't consider myself a vegan, but for the most part, I eat mostly plant-based. But I do say this: every time I'll go back to Texas, you can bet your ass that I'll be eating barbecue.
I've been doing plant-based for the last month.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely changes how you feel.
Yeah.
I used to be like tired like in the afternoons at work. That no longer happens. I feel good. Like I feel good. Like, do I miss meat? I do sometimes. Like, and I'm probably gonna end it this week because I'm going to a bachelor party.
You're gonna end it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're just gonna end the diet, not
the diet.
Wait a minute, you're gonna go to a bachelor party and you're gonna have meat?
Well,
he's gonna end it at the bachelor party with salchicha.
At the bachelor party,
have meat at a bachelor party. That's cool.
He's gonna have sausage at the bachelor party. I mean, I don't want to be the guy asking for the veggie burger. Like, I'm like,
you don't want to be that guy.
No, you do want to be that guy at the bachelor party. Because keep in mind that eating a more plant-based diet, you have better circulation.
That's true.
Because you're not consuming cholesterol, so you can hang a wet towel. You know what I mean?
And where's this bachelor party going to be held?
Up in Saratoga Springs in New York.
Oh, so you're going back home then?
Yeah, I'm going back home.
Yeah. So honestly, honest answer, what are the chances there could be a dead hooker on the floor the following morning?
Probably very, very slim. I have no idea what Saratoga Springs is like. I heard
very slim. We're talking 40%. No.
Yeah, like maybe like 35.
30. Okay, 35. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have no idea what this town is like. So the rest of the guys picked it. I just said yes.
All right. So before we wrap it up, I do want to.
Johnny, you still hungry for barbecue?
No, I want to ask y'all for a prediction. So. You predict on whatever it is. Just give me a prediction. What's on Rafa or Vela or Chivas, America, whatever it is. Ron, what's your prediction for the week?
I think eventually, I'm not hating Vela with MLS. I this. I've said this for a long, long time. MLS and Liga MX. It's a
They're
marriage.
on a collision course.
It's going to be a marriage. Whether you want to accept it or not, whether you want to agree with it or not. And I will say this. it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have that marriage with MLS, because the one thing I can guarantee you is, especially because of how you do business here in the United States, it's gonna be a lot harder for shady people,
Right.
the Cermeños, the Carlos Almadas, and stuff like that, to kind of be involved. And I don't know. I just think that it's gonna happen. It's gonna be more of a business relationship, where it's not just a couple like Moledo games like the Superliga. I think it's gonna be legit.
Right. That's a very reasonable prediction, and it's something that we've talked about. One of the themes on this show. It's like accept the fact that both leagues need each other. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Ron. I'd love to see them be and have a real competitive.
If Liga MX, or I'm sorry, if MLS was around when you were a child, John, I guarantee you that right now.
I had an ASL around when I was a child, and seriously, like in the summer, and because we used to have cable, and so we got 2 Gringo channels, and occasionally there'd be an NASL game on Sunday, and I was riveted because I thought the uniforms, like, wow, that is really cool, because the uniforms were so different, and just they were playing this, goofy looking ball, and it was weird.
Right. The NSL, but I think that one of the things that MLS has done is that they're actually taking the youth development serious, whereas the other league didn't.
Right,
North American Soccer League.
It was a Ponzi scheme.
And yeah, I think that if U.S. soccer had been more serious back in the 60s and 70s, obviously creating more competition for Mexico, I guarantee that right now Mexico would be a semifinalist, even a finalist in a World Cup, because Mexico needs that competition. I mean, we had to go to South America and to get to get that type of competition, in '93 when we first started participating in Copas Americas.
Right. So here's what I would like to see, Ron, and we'll then move on to our other members. Is I do want to see the Liga MX and MLS play in a competitive fashion, whether it's a cup tournament. I would rather it be during the season, or figure out a way to do it where they're both have been been playing for a while, so like they're both at their competitive best, whatever time in the calendar that is. But the preseason, like Superliga stuff, I mean, that stuff to me is worthless. But if you are going to insist on doing those, then when all these European teams, I mean, how many European teams came over here, and usually like they play Chivas or America or Tigres or whatever, and like they didn't play any of the Mexican teams, because obviously Mexico started early. But if they're going to do that, then why not bring up some of the South American teams? If we can have a ridiculous preseason tournament, then why not have it with Boca Juniors and Inter Milan and LA Galaxy and Atlanta, or whomever. And so if they're going to do it, they're going to do the preseason stuff. That's what I want. But as far as like during the season, to me, a one-off tournament would just be terrific, where it's single elimination. Wherever the bracket falls, you're either home or away, and you just go. And play it as it happens. I think that would be just to me would just be outstanding. And I think it would instantly, just be absolutely, it would be. And if MLS wins the first few, it'll definitely make things a lot more interesting. Rigo, what is your big prediction for the week?
I think Chivas beats Monterrey in Monterrey. And I also think Daenerys lets Jamie Lannister go back to King's Landing.
Shocking prediction from Rigo that Chivas is going to win. Who would have ever guessed? I
mean, this is a very unbiased opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just,
So this strictly, is your educated, unbiased, scholarly. You've analyzed both teams thoroughly.
Just from so statistics, gameplay, watched a lot of game tape all week, and that's what I gather. I think a 2-1 victory, Monterrey.
Right, and you think that Daenerys is going to let Jamie go?
Yes. think so.
Well, he's definitely not dead, so we don't have to worry about that little bit of intrigue.
He's not dead. I think.
If he goes, someone's the only way to pay for life is death. So someone's gonna have to pay for that.
Or they send Cersei, a request like you need to let go of Yara Greyjoy and the Sand Snakes, and we'll give you Jaime back. And then she says no, and then Jaime's like, okay,
And they cut off the other hand and send that.
Then she's like, Jaime's like, this bitch just let me out to dry, and that's what makes him turn to want to kill her. I've been reading a lot. I don't know.
Evidently. Well, we'll have to say your prediction on Game of Thrones was a little more enthusiastic and creative than just saying Chivas was good. So we'll leave it at that. I think, Dan, are you still with us, or are you?
Well, I'm here.
All right. So Dan, what is your big prediction for the week?
Santos gets their first win. I'll keep it simple.
All right. Santos and Santos gets in. They play Veracruz, so that's again really
going down the limb.
Really throwing yourself out there. With that one.
Well, I'd like to make a bolder prediction and say that Rafa's going to come out of this totally unscathed.
I thought you were going to say something like San Dimas high school football rules, but
no. Well, I was going to say that. Actually, I was going to bring up the Rocky reference just because I felt it was kind of appropriate. Because Ronnie kind of painted a picture that Rafa is like Rocky when they take all his money in Rocky 5, where those two guys are Paulie.
So Rocky
does that one fit? Yeah, you know how Rocky lost all his money and he went to the poorhouse.
Are we running out of Rockies to make references?
No.
No, I don't think we've referenced the original yet. Yeah,
we've made so many references to Rockies now.
Interesting. So you think that it was that his? Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, that's actually I don't think this is going to end well for Rafa. I think that he's going to be unfortunately ostracized from at least for the next 2 to 3 years at the least. And whether his if he does end up being cleared, or if it turns out that he really didn't have no idea what was going on at these places, then I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or not. But he might be able to come back. But I do think that he's going to have to, or he will, or be forced to at least step away from the business and the entertainment of Mexican soccer for the next couple of years that he's going to be in.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
The whole thing with players starting, nonprofits and foundations. I don't remember it was Real Sports. I don't remember, but I remember seeing a document or a report how a lot of these foundations have good intentions, but they never really do the work they say they do.
Right.
I think that it's like these players need to stop really lending their names to these type of organizations.
Yeah, exactly. Like to restaurants or to academies or to do the smart thing. If you're gonna put your name on something, put it on a car dealership, because those guys just print money.
Yeah. But it's just like you're setting yourself up, because it's not like you're gonna be there the entire time. And it's like
right.
I guess,
and as you said, I'm not sure that Rafa's the kind of guy that's gonna, get a weekly or a monthly report on what the books look like.
No,
at his foundation that's in where he's from. What is Zamora, Michoacan, or Guadalajara, or wherever it is when he's in. In Barcelona or wherever. So I mean, and again, I'm not saying that's. I'm not. Rafa needs to know what's going on in his places, but you're right though, Ron. It's like they have this foundation is they're going to give a lot of money to charity, this and that, and they end up not doing anything.
It's like Dan, dude. I mean, this does. I mean, I'll be dead honest. It does have me bummed out because I would have really liked to sit, obviously Rafael Marquez, as not necessarily even a coach, but even as an executive, and because as president of the federation or even of the league, and trying to, just because of what he's done internationally, elevate Mexico. I think he just loses all his credibility now, even if he's innocent, because there's always going to be people that are always going to doubt him.
Yeah, so I mean that's why he's going to have to go through a serious image overhaul for him to, if he wants to have any kind of future in Mexico. We do have Chiquis. Do you have a prediction before we wrap it up here?
Oh yeah, a few.
Wow,
I think
more than
America
one.
blows away Atlas without Rafa.
Okay, America beats Atlas.
Avilés without is
Right.
going to be too much for Chivas. He scored 2 last week, and Pachuca's going to smoke Tigres and send them into abyss, and Pumas is going to bring down Lobos.
Just bring in the heat. I like it. Just especially that last one. Just hoping to beat the expansion team. There, hopefully that.
They're in Seoul, so they should have support.
Are you saying that Lobos is the Gordiwapa?
Hey man, at this point, if the hole in the wall is warm enough,
Cualquier hoyo es trinchera, right?
For Pumas, they'll.
En tiempos de guerra, cualquier hoyo.
Atlas would be the easy win, the slump buster for America.
That's right. We do have another prediction. Hang on, Chiquis.
Willie Nelson will astound his fans by swimming the English Channel.
Really? Willie Nelson?
Anyway, as you were saying, Chiquis.
No, I was just saying Atlas is the one's going through turmoil right now, so that should be an easy win for America.
That's true. And then not only that, but they are Atlas is mired in the relegation battle. So if this sends them into a funk, they're going to have some serious problems. Very, this could really just wow. Wouldn't that just be so Atlas though? To have Rafa back, you get bought by the Salinas group, so you're thinking, man, we're going to finally make the investment to really try and make the effort to win a championship, and then this happens to Rafa, and then they get relegated.
But here, John, take it a little bit further. They get relegated, and then Rafa buys them at a cheaper price.
but that would have been okay had his assets not been frozen. Unfortunately,
he'll find another way.
That would be funny. All right, gentlemen. Well, let's wrap it up. I know that we had some other folks on the line, but I guess they have dropped off. So, but we do appreciate Joel Aceves and Juan and Profe Uribe joining us. Dan, thanks so much for hopping on. I believe Dan said, no, thanks, John. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you.
We do appreciate everybody on the chat, Sergio and MJP, and I think Mr. Flores hopped on. So thank you all very much for that. Rigoberto, thank you very much again for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Hopefully your
predictions are right.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out for you. We'll see how that turns out. Ronnie, appreciate you coming on. Hopefully things go well for you in Philadelphia this week.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, guys.
My name is John Jagu. Thank you guys for joining us here on the CantinaMX podcast. We are on live on YouTube every Thursday night. We did do a special Wednesday edition because of some of the information that has come out in the last few days. But usually you'll find us on Thursdays on YouTube at 9:30 Central, which is 10:30 Eastern and 7:30 on the West Coast, and of course 8:30 Mountain Time. And you can download this and all of our previous 97 editions. This is the episode 98 of the CantinaMX podcast. We're bearing down on 100. Hopefully we'll have a good show for our 100th episode. But I do want to thank you all for listening to us and joining us and chatting with us. And hopefully we'll have you guys joining us again next week. And if you want to listen to previous editions, please download those from iTunes or from Google Play. My name is John Jagu. We'll talk to you guys again next week.